understand. But I don't wanna play your game.
The Earth is very flat.
What's going on, everybody? It's Tuesday, August 24th, 2021. This is Brandon, host of Brandon's Show. Hope everybody is doing well out there. Got quite a few people in chat and lots of people waiting in Discord, about 26 of them. I see Cleary, Ian Adams, PJ Cruikshank, Page 42, Logan's Run. What's going on, Logan's? Bill G. What's up, Bill? And you guys been chatting away. Holy crap. Scroll way up. Alexander Lightwater. Rune Thorson says, excellent show yesterday. The future is yours. Hell yeah, Rune. I like that. And PJ Cruikshank was first with Yo Yo Yo. All right. Dan Morris just popped in. What's going on? Hope the sound is good. Sound is good. Bill says sounds good. We're ready to go. Open panel, open discussion tonight. I know they're in there talking about reference frames right now. Let's cross our fingers and hope they're done and go see what's going on.
Powered flight is just another extrapolation of your attempts to get out of natural physics because of what you understand to be the case on small scale.
Dude, the thing is being steered. What don't you get about that?
You're not steering the drone. You're just raising it up off the merry-go-round.
Okay, right. So
you're not steering it to keep up with the merry-go-round.
Hold on. Listen. We're going to do two things, okay? We're going to put Jeremy on the merry-go-round with a ball and a drone. He's going to just simply throw the ball straight up in the air best he can. And then he's going to launch the drone straight up in the air best he can. That's it. You're going to see both objects deviate in the exact same way.
Yeah, this powered flight thing has absolutely nothing to do with some red herring bullshit.
Powered flight is a fallacy.
It has everything to do with it.
It's red herring bullshit, Brenda. You don't know shit.
Here she is.
You don't know shit, Brenda.
It has everything to do with it.
It has nothing. What has everything to do with what?
Yeah, don't take the bait, Jeremy. Just ignore it.
What's going on, everyone? We are live on YouTube. Got quite a few people in Discord. 27. Start off the show. It's open panel, open discussion. Let me just call out everybody in here. Gypsy, JJ, Arma Chand. Sorry if I butchered that. Adam Particle, DMOC, Brian Leakey, Chad, Drink of the Kool-Aid, Enigma, Ellen of Cyrene, Extreme Assist, Farming Ganja, Effie Walker, Geo, His Ether Bandiness, Travis, Jace, 711, yeah. Jeremy, Kosho, Matrix Media, Jay, Moongazing, Pope Sin Cleanser, Riggs, SC Root Innie, Sean G, Silent Zero, Staggly, sorry, Super Effective, The Real Bob Dole, and Branch. Yo. So it sounds like we're picking up our conversation where we left off yesterday with the north-south flight. Kosho, are you trying to confuse everybody with reference frames? Is that what you're doing?
No, these guys are fucking confused. I gave two examples of how an object and how a person could leave a reference frame, and they're just in denial or something. They don't know how reference frame. I don't know what's wrong with these people.
Let me back Jeremy up here. I listened to the show. I missed it yesterday. Sorry about that, but I listened to it this morning, and it had Elijah. Shout out to him, and the Farmer's Ganja, I think, was the other. Yeah, they called Biodual out. He said right there, just loud and clear, that the Earth and the atmosphere are one reference frame. They're one reference frame. And then right when Farmer's Ganja, the next sentence, asked him a question, he's like, well, when he's talking about the plane, he's like, well, when it leaves the reference frame, I'm like, and Brandon called it out immediately. But I made a little short video on my channel. I put it on Flat Earth Test channel. But yeah, immediately he just stepped on his tongue within one paragraph of talking. These people are confused and they don't even know it. That's what's sad.
I think they do know it, Brian. I think you're wrong about that part. I think the confusion is willful and purposeful. What do you think, Coach?
Well, I can't speak for Kosho, but I am absolutely sincere
Yeah, right. Good one.
No, I am. This is
I believe
I
it. You gotta
believe.
understand.
Well,
Brenda, go
you
listen to my
don't.
video. And Brenda, I've put out a couple videos on Coriolis of people double talking. But just go listen to my video. It's only like 2 minutes. I'll post
Yeah.
it in
What
general,
causes,
and listen to
Brian?
them say that the Earth and the atmosphere are one reference frame, and then the next sentence say that it's leaving the reference frame. Just so you see what y'all are saying, and this
Brian,
might sink in.
What causes the Coriolis effect?
Between the two of you, one's got an echo.
There is no such Coriolis effect is an effect if you're
Fucking
spinning
Brenda, she does it every
on a
day.
merry-go-round. You know,
Oh, my
if you're
Billy.
spinning, if you're actually spinning,
It's-
not earthbound. There's no earth-based Coriolis, Brenda.
It's caused by linear conservation of linear momentum.
How can you be spinning in a circle conserving linear momentum, Brenda? If you look it up, the two cannot be confused. They cannot be intertwined mathematically. Linear and angular momentum cannot be intertwined mathematically. They are two separate things. If you say we're spinning in a circle, then you can't use linear momentum, Brenda.
What happens when you conserve your linear momentum when you're spinning in a circle? There's something called an inertial force or centrifugal
Then say
force.
that the plane is going. So you admit the plane is going.
Hold
in
on,
a straight
Brian.
line.
Whoever's got the echo has to fix it. It's too distracting. All right, go ahead.
He's either admitting the plane's going in a straight line, or either that his
no.
math is fudged.
What I said was I'm just trying to I'm trying to clear up the confusion you're having right now with Brenda about an object moving, keeping its linear momentum, and experiencing Coriolis or experiencing being moved on something on a rotating frame. Like if you're on something on a rotating frame and you're conserving your linear momentum, that's why you're going to be pushed against the back of it. That's why you experience the centrifugal force, or you hit the side of a car when it turns.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that, Kosher. But tell me, what is moving linearly on a globe? What is moving in a straight line on a globe?
Your she's saying your momentum is. She's saying that your momentum is going in you're conserving your linear momentum.
So the airplane is moving in a straight line on a globe.
No.
No.
We have now entered into Kosho is an imbecile part 2.
So,
Kosho, you're an imbecile.
So,
Brian
Kosha, you
just
said
agreed
something
with,
about.
Brian just agreed with what I said, but
you said something
that's
before
fine.
the show that I caught regarding reference frames. And yesterday we were having a discussion, mostly myself and BioDuel, about the north to south flight. And the reference frame that we were, at least I was talking about, if you want to break it down like that, is the non-rotating reference frame looking down at the Earth. And what the plane has to do, looking at it from the non-rotating reference frame, as it moves across the rotating reference frame. Okay? So I'm watching this plane, and by the time it goes down to the equator, we'll just use 500 miles per hour and 1,000, wherever those end up on the globe. It flies north to south. As it flies south, it has to gain what's the right word? Angular momentum as it nears the equator. 500 miles an hour in one
Tangential
particular
speed.
vector. And I think where you guys try to confuse things is saying, oh, you're not looking at it. It's within the reference frame. No, motherfucker. We're looking at it from the non-rotating reference frame. And from this frame, as we're watching the plane, that is indeed what it has to do, correct?
I'm sure over that period of time, yeah, it has to gain that eastward. If it was keeping it, let's say once it has a straight path, like it's at somewhere, like you said, I think that would be like 60 degrees north, and you're keeping a straight path going south to the equator. That's in his example, that you wanted to keep it a straight path. You're traveling straight south, and that's what you want to do. In order to do this, he's claiming that you need to increase your eastward speed by 500 miles per hour. But I think you see, if a plane was indeed keeping its speed, I mean keeping to that straight line, and it was constantly making corrections to make sure it was keeping that straight line, it would over time increase that eastward speed.
So what kind of corrections is it
other
making to
corrections
pick
it's
up
making.
that angular momentum in that vector, that particular eastward vector?
Just
What kind of
realigning the
corrections
plane.
will allow it to do that?
The propeller.
And he says it
I
can
was
be done,
asking
but no
Kosho.
experiments
Kosho,
ever
what
showed
kind
it,
of corrections
only
will allow
stories
it to do
about
that?
artillery.
Just realigning the
He's
plane every
saying
time
one
it's not
thing
going.
has
It's
to
not
be
following
wind,
that path.
right?
So
Yeah.
turning, is
You say it
that
has
what
to
you're
be
saying?
wind, right?
Hold on, Brian. Turning, is that what your answer is?
I wouldn't
Kosho?
say turning as much as just realigning it to that path. I mean, if it
No,
ever deviates from that path, it would just
realigning
realign
means
to it.
turning, correct?
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't call it turning if it was so slight. It's like if you're jogging and you're like just trying to reorient yourself. You're not necessarily turning, but you are, you know. I mean, I guess you call it turning, but it's not like a rotational turn. It's just like a
What
slight nudge back in the right
exactly
path.
does
Yeah, Kosho, can
the
you
size
not-
of the turn? Hold on. What exactly does the size of the turn have to do with
Yeah,
the
listen to
correction?
your.
I just don't want to confuse anybody
Sorry.
thinking that there's an
Oh my
actual turning
God.
taking
Oh,
place.
hold on, Travis. No,
I'm sorry.
you do want to confuse everybody. That's exactly what you're doing.
No, I'm
And I
trying
want
to
to
not
know
confuse
why
anyone.
you're saying that the size of the turns matter, as if that's something. Can you gain angular momentum in a particular vector just by turning? Can you increase your overall momentum by turning alone, no matter how small the turns are?
Yeah, a turning is acceleration.
In one particular vector, not overall. You
Yeah.
add the vectors up,
We
you
try to
still
tell
have
you
the
how
same
turning
overall
is
speed. Don't
acceleration.
act like a fucking asshole.
It's acceleration. So
We
it
try to
adds.
tell you
It's
all
it adds-
acceleration in a
acceleration.
particular vector, Brenda.
Yeah.
If
yeah.
I'm going straight and I turn to the left a little bit, 45 degrees, I changed my vector. I didn't increase my overall velocity, did I? Or momentum?
You have accelerated a small amount.
No. How does that work? How do I accelerate just by turning?
That's what rotation is. Rotation is acceleration.
What who's talking about
You heard it
rotating?
here
We're talking
first.
about turning a fucking plane.
Yeah, turning, rotating, those are the same things.
Nonsense. You guys don't have a good answer for this. That's what it comes down to.
So
That's exactly what the answer is, though, man. If you were keeping
It's
onto
not
that
too
path,
often, Kosho.
you're keeping onto that
Kosho.
path, it would naturally, you naturally would need to speed up if you were trying to keep that path.
Hold
So
on
you're
there,
saying that
Kosho.
you add thrust in order to stay on the path.
But you'd be applying thrust the entire time.
No.
It's
Of
not
course you
very
would
often we
imply
get these
thrust the
guys.
entire time. That's how you fly a plane. The engine stays on the entire time in most plane
exactly.
flights. So are you saying you have to increase the thrust in order to gain the additional momentum in the eastward vector?
in order to change direction, you have to add energy. And you're adding energy by the wings and the propeller.
Brandon,
Kosho?
you're leaving something out, bud. They like to point out that we
Ryan.
wouldn't feel. Yeah, go ahead.
Kosho, answer the question.
I don't remember the question now. You said something
Of
about
course you
applying
don't.
thrust.
Do you have
because
to
three
increase
people are
your
talking,
thrust?
Brendan. Be
Do you
reasonable.
have to increase
That's
the
why I don't remember
thrust?
what you asked.
You have to increase the thrust as you go south. You just said something about thrust. They do it with thrust to stay on the same path. Remember, we're looking down at it from the non-rotating reference frame where the Earth is spinning faster. This ground speed, the tangential speed of the Earth, right, is faster as we near the equator. We have to gain 500 miles per hour as we get nearer the equator in the eastward vector. You're saying that we do that with thrust?
I'm saying if this is what was happening, if you were trying to keep in this straight path, in which case you would increase your speed 500 miles per hour, then yes, in order to stay on that straight path, the adjustments that you would need to make would be the turning or a slight adjusting. It would be the thrust that's needed to make those adjustments. Yeah, all that would be
You are
included.
not talking about what Brandon is. You are not talking about the same idea. No.
Hold on. So you just said that you would, are you telling me that, because it sounds like what you just said is, in order to stay on your course, you have to make slight turns and keep your engine on. That's what it sounded like you just said. What I'm asking you is, when I'm at 60 north and I'm going south down towards the equator, 60 north, I've got my engine set so that the plane gains an airspeed of 500 miles an hour. Okay. As I go south, I need to pick up speed in the eastward vector, correct?
Yeah,
How
so
do I do that? You're
you-
telling me that I use thrust, so I would have to increase my thrust then, right? Because I'm increasing my
course,
speed in a vector.
When you're using your thrust, that's the same thing as increasing your thrust. That's
Okay,
what
hold on, just real quick, Brandon.
Hold
on.
I'm trying to
Right
answer his
now,
question, but then
I know.
He's gonna say I'm not answering his question now.
Right now, Brandon, we have a conflict of answers between Kosho and Biodual. Do we not?
Absolutely. I'm trying to point that
They
out.
give us a different answer for this all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, well, me and Biodual are not the same person either, so
Well,
that doesn't matter. But
can you
regardless,
clarify what answer
to answer
you
what
just?
you said,
Yeah.
Brandon, to answer what you said just now, you have two examples. One where the person is flying from 60 degrees north to the equator, and they're keeping on the same longitude line, so they're going on the same path. In which case, what we described earlier would occur, or they're strictly they're not making any adjustments at all, and it's something like it's more or less like a ballistic flight where they just started a trajectory south and then traveling. In which case, that the second one would experience this deviated path, the Coriolis. But in the first one, because you're making sure that you're keeping along that same path, you're making constant adjustments to stay along that path. Yes, you would have to increase overall your speed eastward would need to have increased. And so the adjustments that you're making throughout are going to have to reflect that. So yeah, you would have to use extra thrust or extra turning or whatever it is.
Would you
Okay,
agree
so
with
you
Brenda?
just said that we would have to have extra thrust. So that would
Said
mean
that
if
the
we
whole
looked
time.
at all of the north-south, south-north plane flights, and we could say look at their engine data and see the amount of thrust that each use, assuming everything else is constant. We look at a macro set of data, we should see this increased use of thrust for planes that fly north to south versus south to north for the same exact routes. Would you agree?
No. If one was going north or south to north, it would be exactly the same thing. If you're increasing your speed, or if you're adding an eastward speed of 500 miles per hour in order to keep that straight line, or you're taking away a 500 mile per hour speed to go in a straight line the other direction, you're using the exact same amount of corrections.
Why would I need to increase my thrust when I'm going north in order to decrease my overall speed?
Because it's not that you're not decreasing. When you're talking about decreasing or increasing your speed, you're talking about your speed in reference to some outside object. But ultimately, what you're doing to keep that straight path is change. Yes, just change that speed. So it's not that you're moving. It's not that you're moving faster or slower in reference to the Earth. You know what I mean? It's moving faster or slower in reference to your position in this inertial reference frame.
If you're going north, you're at 1,000 coming from the equator. You're going down to 500 miles per hour in the east, right?
You just
To
said
the
inertial
east.
reference frame.
Now, you're telling me that I would also increase my thrust in order to slow down my tangential speed to 500 miles an hour from 1,000. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, you're ultimately changing to accelerate. You're gonna be changing your we're talking about the speed is in reference to the inertial reference frame.
Right. So they'd be doing
we're not
different
talking about
things in
speed in
different
reference
directions.
to the
So
actual
the
surface
pilots
of the
would
Earth.
know about it, right?
We're talking about the plane speed in reference to the Earth. Yes, that's what we're talking about.
We're actually not.
See, here he's gonna retreat into the reference frame. Here he goes.
They're doing different things in different directions. Wouldn't they be doing different things in different directions?
You just said the inertial reference frame.
In reference to that reference frame, that's where the 500 miles per hour
Don't
is
start with the fucking reference frames.
There's no 500 miles per hour difference if you're talking about
No, there is a 500 miles an hour difference. There is. We've already established that. That's what we've been talking about this whole time.
Brandon, he's trying to keep the inertial reference frame. He's trying to move the inertial reference frame.
Well, he just said in the Earth reference frame, and he's absolutely right. That's the one that matters.
And that's the one where we would have to either lose or gain 500 miles in tangential speed in the east vector, correct?
You're going in a straight line. How are you going any speed east or west? You're going straight south. How are you going any speed east or west?
That's what we're trying to say.
I'm with Brendan. I don't have to scream over. I'm trying to see what Brendan. Brendan, we're talking about.
Do I need to say anything else here? Is this not 100% clear to everyone that he's just jacking us off at this point?
Yep.
Yeah,
Apparently
my
everyone
mom
but
did
Kosho
it.
One
gets
other
it.
point, no? Hey, Kosho, would you agree with Brenda that the reference frame, okay, that's moving in a angular momentum that's spinning is accelerating, right?
I'd have to understand the question that you just
Yeah, I
asked.
know.
but
My
it's-
bad. Look,
I
if
agree with you.
the reference frame is spinning, it's accelerating, correct?
The reference frame, I wouldn't call the reference frame as. No, yeah. I guess I would. Yeah, you could say that the reference frame is accelerating.
Okay, why do y'all always put us on a train or a bus to try and explain Coriolis? I'm just trying to reach you, dude. Look, you are confused, bro. I promise you.
No one's
you are
putting you
doing
on a
mental-
train or a bus to explain Coriolis. They might have done that
You're
to
doing-
explain reference frames, but not
You're
Coriolis.
doing,
Coriolis is a
trust
virtual
me,
reference frame.
trust me, bro. Listen back to the show and listen. You're doing mental gymnastics, trying to think of ways around your own bullshit, bro. Listen, you always try and put us on a train or a plane to say we don't feel the emotion, but now all of a sudden you want to say that the spinning reference frame is accelerating. Why isn't it accelerating in your other example when you try to say we wouldn't feel motion?
You know what acceleration is defined as? It's a change of velocity. You know what velocity is defined as? It's the speed and direction. If you're rotating, you're changing your direction all the time. Okay? So if you're changing your direction, then you're accelerating. So I don't know why this is being discussed, but
because it's
Well, because he keeps saying if. Hang on, sorry, Brian. Hang on. He keeps saying if. The point here is to prove that something is spinning. Quit saying if and come up with some
dude, I'm defining what the
evidence.
fucking word means, dude. Pay attention, or like, I don't know, stand back and wait to see what's going on. I'm not saying anything. I'm not proving anything with this, dude. He's talking about he's talking about what acceleration means. Why we use that word when we're saying something rotating. I'm not saying that. Not saying that's what the Earth's doing. I'm not. No one's proving anything when he's saying that, dude. And back to the plane speed north or south in reference to the Earth's the Earth's surface. If it's along the same longitude line, there is zero.
Now you are talking about the
east
Earth.
or west. There's 0 miles per hour east or west.
Bullshit, bro.
Dude, what are you doing?
You're right, because the Earth's stationary. Kosho, you're absolutely right.
Well, you're wrong, Kosho, because there is east to west because of the differential and tangential velocities, dude. Every inch you progress up and down that longitude. Let me talk. Every inch you progress up and down that longitude line, there's going to be a mismatch of the ground moving underneath you, as if you was on that fucking carousel watching a straight thing that's not going straight, bro. However fucking way you want to put it, we've all agreed to the mismatch. Okay, well, draw.
If you're on the
it,
same
so maybe
longitude line,
understand
Don,
it.
if you travel
We
along the same
all understand
longitude
it,
line,
but
you're
you,
not going
bro.
any speed
We all
east or
understand
west
it,
at
but
all.
you.
Let me just ask Kosho in reference to
Hold on, man.
Coriolis.
Jeremy, before you ask this question, I don't know why this is even getting argued with. If something's not moving east or west, it's moving zero displacement east or west. Displacement is ultimately change of position. If you have no change of position, you have no speed in that direction.
You're not going to
there's no
hold the
speed
longitude
Hold
line,
on,
bro.
Don. I'm next, Don.
He's saying if you force the line is
I
all
know.
he's saying. And that's what he's not trying
That's
to
what
address.
we've been talking about, Don.
How are they forcing the line? They go
Let me-
up
this is what we've
north
been
in one
talking about,
direction,
Don.
south in the other direction. They'd be forcing the line in two different ways. Now talk about that or get off the pot.
Dude, Don, I'm sorry you don't understand this, but I think maybe you haven't been listening. Okay?
Hold on.
There's two reference frames we can discuss at this point now. One is, he just said that we're talking about in reference to the Earth. If you're talking about in reference to the Earth, then there is no speed. The speed you're talking about is in reference to the inertial reference frame, not the Earth.
All right, good. That's cool. Let me just ask if you agree with George Hanatook when he says the Earth does rotate under the bullet and the Earth doesn't rotate under the bullet. You agree with that?
You just said two different things at the same time.
That's George Hanatook's stance. I mean, I'm just wondering if you agree.
That's fantastic.
Do
But
you agree with his
ultimately, when people try to trap you with that, it's contextual. So you have to understand what's meant by saying that. They're just saying that the Earth is rotating and the thing is moving across it. That's all it's meant when they say that.
Yeah. So is the Earth rotating under the bullet or no?
Did you hear what I just said? I just cleared that up in my position on it. That when people describe that in reference to Coriolis, they're just saying that the Earth is rotating and the thing is rotating and the thing is moving across of it. They don't mean that it's stationary and so the Earth rotates independent of it or whatever. They're just clearly stating one's rotating and one's moving across it. That's all that's meant.
fucking double think gobbledygook.
Yeah, this is insane. This is absolutely mind blowing.
Do you even know why you defend this stuff anymore, Kosho? Do you? I mean,
Dude,
I
I
think
posted
you know
nonstop
why, but
fucking
do you
citations,
actually
dude.
know why you defend it? Like, do you know why you're doing this right now?
Outside of your friends in here, right? Go ahead and post for me, like I've been posting for you, the definition of these terms that we're using, right? What a reference frame is, what Coriolis is, right? Not your definition that you make up on the spot. But you guys want to act like you're like the arrogance in here is palpable, dude.
We
It's
know
insane.
what both of those are already. We don't need your fucking definitions. That's not what this is about.
Why don't your
This is
definitions...
about your inability to give us a coherent answer to obvious questions.
I've given answers to all the questions. You guys are still confusing them.
You've ignored my question, Kosho. You've ignored it. You haven't answered it.
Don, your question was ignoring the reference frame.
How are they compensating for the fucking differential in both directions? You won't even address it.
Don, I answered you specifically. If you're talking about on the reference frame of the Earth, then it's not changing any speed in either east or west. If it's going in a straight longitude line path. If you're talking about a different reference frame, if you're talking about the inertial reference frame, Don, then you'll have that different speed.
That's a good point. No, hold on, guys. Hold on a second. That's a good point, Kosho. Where is your inertial reference frame?
Well, when you're describing the Earth's rotation, the inertial reference frame is just outside the Earth, so you can change it to the sun's reference frame if you wanted to.
So we would have to get as far out as the sun to get in the inertial reference frame?
No, you would just set that as you would just set that as a coordinate system. That would be the thing that dictates where the coordinate system is.
Earlier, you said the Earth.
How high up do I gotta go?
You don't have to go. You can do it from here. You can do it from at your desk. You don't have to go anywhere.
The inertial reference frame is where?
It exists in all places. I don't know why. I mean, if you're talking about the
even
sun's
on the
reference frame,
even on the non-inertial reference frame, the inertial frame's in that frame.
and then now if you're describing two different reference frames, you're describing two different reference frames. You're not describing one or the other. If you're saying that the Earth's reference frame, the rotating reference frame, something exists on that, and something is being described on that, you can describe that same thing on the Earth, and then transform it to the sun's reference frame. There's nothing wrong with doing that.
I can't deal with you, Coach. You don't have an inertial reference frame.
He's stuck in the mass, y'all. He's stuck in the mass. Coach, we can show you Coriolis in real life. We're sitting here trying to jump down our throats. Coriolis is easy to define. It's easy to demonstrate. Please demonstrate the bullshit you're talking about.
I've asked them to do it before. They can't. You want to end this Coriolis debate? Get in the inertial reference frame. Show us the fucking thing not deviating, and it deviating from the non-inertial reference frame. That's how we can show Coriolis. We can get in both frames. I don't know where you're going to go to get in their inertial reference frame. Where do you go, Kosho? If I want to get Earth-based Coriolis, where do I go to get in your inertial reference
Earth-based Coriolis? You experience it from Earth.
Oh.
So I can just
You don't experience Coriolis from an inertial reference frame, dude. I don't know why you keep saying that. You don't go outside the reference frame and experience the inertial reference frame to experience Coriolis. You experience it specifically from the rotating reference frame.
We could go to the inertial reference frame when we do it on a merry-go-round or any kind of spinning body on Earth. We can get a view of the object in motion from both reference frames. Now, where would we go to get a view of the Earth-based Coriolis from the inertial reference frame? Where do we go for that?
Maybe watch something from Discover's Epic satellite. And
no, they just put the atmosphere past.
That's why I asked.
Hold on, Brian.
See something that's big enough for traveling. Hold on, Jeremy, because you just asked me, then you're gonna walk through the question. No, because that satellite is specifically in reference to the Earth orbiting the sun. It keeps its same position, so you technically could use that as
Okay, right.
He's
So
losing it.
okay, listen. So when Coriolis first discovered this effect, how did he observe this effect?
I don't know. Tell us.
No, listen. You have now taken us into La La Land space, but that's not where Coriolis based his effect.
Jeremy just asked the question, dipshit. Dude, just don't speak to me anymore, man.
He did not.
Oh, I gotta go as high up. Go ahead, Travis.
Yeah, he did not have a satellite. So you tell us and answer Jeremy's question now, because we're on the Earth. How can we do that here on the Earth?
Jeremy asked me how to experience the inertial reference frame
How high up do I gotta go? As high? I gotta get as high as the satellite.
No, I mean that's one example of something that it would have to be something that's not rotating with the Earth. So you could also use a geostationary satellite. Any geostationary satellite that's not rotating with the Earth, or is rotating, or it's like the Earth is it's seemingly stationary in reference to the Earth's rotation. Okay, and
so you realize
the example of that was the Epic satellite, the Epic Discover satellite. But I mean, something that's doing something like that, that would be how you experience that. If you needed to experience that.
The current heliocentric model has the atmosphere just past ending at 600,000 kilometers. So don't try and pull no Epic satellite.
What does that have to do with anything?
No.
What does the atmosphere have to do with anything that's being talked about?
So I started this whole thing off saying that we were looking down at the Earth from the inertial reference frame, viewing the non-inertial reference frame below, and watching what the plane had to do to gain the additional momentum in the eastward vector. That's what we started the conversation about. So you've taken us down a couple of different rabbit holes here, Kosho, but I just want to conclude by saying you haven't provided anything of substance. You've provided no coherent arguments, no evidence, no demonstrations, and neither has anybody for Earth-based Coriolis.
Let me just get a final thought.
They're all over the web.
Yeah, I know. So just my final thought.
I'm glad we all agree.
In order to show that Earth-based Coriolis was happening, you have to get in the inert, like we do it on Earth. We can get off the merry-go-round and on the merry-go-round. We can be in both of the reference frames, and we can see, oh look, the ball's going straight here, and the ball's appearing to curve here. Now you'd have to do that with Earth in order to show us that there actually is Earth-based Coriolis.
Yeah, that's easy.
Not only that, okay. Now, what if you had a plane, this very same plane they're talking about, coming from Alaska down to Mexico or whatever, if you had a car driving directly underneath it, okay, according to Bob, the science guy, the car is also experiencing Coriolis, okay? It's in the same reference frame. The atmosphere in the Earth is one reference frame. So would the tires on the right wear out quicker? Because the car would be pulling to the fucking right? Would the plane be deviating away from the car? Dude, use your common sense. It's a big sack of shit argument, man. I don't know.
So do we understand Coriolis yet?
No, you don't.
It's due to the conservation of momentum, right? In an inertial reference frame.
Never in question. Wasn't even the question that was brought up. There was a very specific example that was brought up. We're looking for any evidence of Earth-based Coriolis. Actually, I was just looking for someone to tell me how it supposedly works in your model, which no one seems to be able to do.
Well, I told you. It's the conservation of momentum, right? So you have...
That doesn't answer the question, Brenda. That does not answer the question.
It's also incorrect.
Brenda.
It's also incorrect.
Well, if you allow me to explain it to you. So I have a cannon on the equator pointed north. So if I'm not going to be allowed to explain, don't complain that I haven't
They were
told
talking
you.
about planes. I just think he was trying to give you a category distinction, but saying there's any. So I didn't know if that mattered.
So
no, it does. So yeah, we were talking about planes. Is this going to be relative to
you wanted me to explain
subject at hand, or is you just going to completely go off into La La Land? Just wondering.
Well, you wanted me to explain Coriolis.
No, I didn't. No.
I thought that's exactly what you said.
I wanted you to answer the question that I asked, or give us evidence of Earth-based Coriolis. Can you do either of those
that's
things?
What I said. Earth-based Coriolis.
Evidence. Yes. Do you understand what evidence is?
Yes. So you mean I need to do an experiment in front of you? Is that what you mean?
No. Did I say that? Did I say, Brenda, you need to do an experiment in front of me? No, I asked you for evidence.
Well,
it can be somebody else's evidence. It can be something that you did in the past.
Right.
Just evidence.
Can I talk then? Could I talk then?
Stop saying stupid shit and I won't have to correct you.
Well, so if you have, for instance, an aircraft carrier that fires, their projectiles, right? They fire their projectiles. The projectiles fly a certain distance. They curve in the northern hemisphere to the right. And in the southern hemisphere, they curve to the left. during the Falkner War, the British Navy forgot to change that from right to left, and they missed their targets.
So your evidence of Coriolis is a anecdote about the Falklands War that we've all heard 100 times before.
By the
That
way, I
is
would say east and
Earth-based
west, not right and left.
Where's the evidence
East and,
of it?
either way, just as you're looking. So either way, east and west, left or right, however you wanted to describe it, right? That is evidence of Coriolis.
No, it's an anecdote.
Oh. Well, you just denying things. No, it's well recorded in the history books.
Give us a demonstration then, Brenda.
So,
even on a
but
small
if you're
scale.
not going to accept, the historical record,
If you don't accept my anecdote, then huff puff.
It's not an anecdote.
Brenda,
It's history.
Easy to demonstrate. Coriolis is easy to demonstrate. Your version is fucking all in your mind.
Well, there is no, it isn't. So there's the
if you
video.
claim linear momentum, then you're not. Then there's no Coriolis, stupid.
No, that's false.
Can I jump in just real quick and ask a question? I'm going to ask Brandon. Brandon, is Coriolis an apparent deflection or an actual physical deflection?
When you throw something straight, let's say you're on the merry-go-round and you throw it and it goes straight, the ball is actually going straight. When you're on the merry-go-round and you watch this same object, it will appear as if it's curving.
Correct. Right.
Yes.
So it's an apparent deflection. Okay. Brenda, is Coriolis an apparent deflection or a physical deflection?
Well, it's both depending on your reference frame, right? As you just explained, it depends on your reference frame. Doesn't it?
No. The only deflection is apparent. It's always apparent because the ball.
That's not true.
No, the ball. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
No, it's
So
not.
if I'm on a merry-go-round and I roll a bowling ball and it rolls in a curve and hits my foot, is that an apparent injury to my foot, or does that?
What they're really talking about if you're on the merry-go-round and someone throws the ball over the merry-go-round and you look up at it.
Not Coriolis.
That is Coriolis. That's the very definition of Coriolis.
Okay. No, listen. The ball is.
You're a goddamn idiot.
Okay, settle down, and maybe I misunderstood you. You're on a merry-go-round, and the bowling ball is on the merry-go-round. Correct?
Yes, and I roll it.
We're talking about something leaving the merry-go-round.
Right. They're talking about throwing a ball over the merry-go-round and you looking up at it while you're spinning.
Doesn't matter. If it's on the merry-go-round and I roll it and it stays on the merry-go-round, that's still Coriolis.
Yeah,
where do you guys go to see it curve? Okay.
Yes, it will curve.
It's not going to curve if you roll a ball.
No, it will curve. It will curve.
How many? There's thousands. Koshev's got at least 5 GIFs that show a curving thing in one reference frame. But
that has two things going on because it was on the plane. It also has that momentum curving. So there's a couple of things
that's
going on
what
there.
causes Coriolis.
Yeah.
The
But you could throw the ball straight over the merry-go-round and look up at it, and you would think that's
he can roll it.
No,
he can roll it. That's still Coriolis. When he rolls
I
it,
agree.
that's
It's a
Coriolis.
simpler version.
No, you are conflating two things. Coriolis is not a physical deviation.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
From one reference frame, it is. It is absolutely. From the other, it isn't.
Listen very carefully again. You are only ever in one reference frame. Okay?
No, that's not true.
If you are on the merry-go-round and you throw a ball away from you, you are going to see an apparent deflection. However,
it's not.
However, if you were off the merry-go-round, you would not see. So we are not ever talking about not being on the merry-go-round. You can never not be on the earth.
Sure, you can. If you were on the ball, you would experience moving straight forward in a linear fashion.
Okay, again, I was hoping to highlight the point that if we look up Coriolis and its definition, and even the simplest example with this guy that teaches like 4 or 5 adults on a merry-go-round, he specifically calls it an apparent deflection, okay?
Yeah,
Coriolis,
it is.
Okay, as an apparent, it is not physical.
That's false.
Okay, here we are again with the pseudoscience, double speaking bullshit.
Can I, hey,
Yes.
Travis? Can I
Apparent
make the distinction
just
that I
means
think
visible.
I think I can describe the distinction that you're trying to make. So you're on the merry-go-round, you throw the ball goes straight. As the observer on the non-inertial reference frame continues to spin, it appears the ball is going in a curved path, when in actuality, it is the observer that is moving in a curved trajectory,
Correct.
not
that's
the
fine.
ball.
Correct.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, that's all correct.
Right.
But that doesn't mean it isn't real.
Yes, the way that you explain it, it does, because
No.
your okay, listen, your projectile isn't moving. It's not deviating.
Yes, it is moving. It's
It
moving
will
straight
appear to
forward.
deviate, and if you
Now
measured the
you-
forces from the non-inertial reference frame, it
Now
would
you've
appear
just
as if the ball is curving. But that's only if you ignore the fact that you're the one moving.
Right. So the ball moves in a straight line.
Yeah.
From one reference frame.
Yeah.
And it curves from another.
Yes.
What are we arguing about then?
Well, the word apparent and the word physical don't have to be mutually exclusive.
Right. So because apparent just means visible, it doesn't mean it isn't real. Like Extremis said, if you roll a bowling ball along the floor of the merry-go-round, it will curve due to the Coriolis force, and it will strike somebody's foot, and it hit.
Shout out, Just Barry. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoy the new GIF there.
Into talking stupidity, because those are not the same.
They are the
events.
same.
No, okay. Again, here we are. We're starting to get trolled. Right now at this point, we're going to be
No.
trolled, and we're going to be taking the bait, so we might as well just...
You're not being trolled. I'm telling you the God's honest truth. The bowling ball rolling across the floor of the merry-go-round experiences the Coriolis force.
No, it's not a force. It is an apparent deflection. Apparent.
It's measured in newtons. It's a force.
It is
Travis.
not a force.
Travis,
It's
even
measured
if
in
that's the case,
newtons.
hold on. Even if that's the case, Travis, then that's the same equivalent as a car and a plane. So if she wants to use that as a bowling ball,
they're
if
not
it's
the
gonna
same,
move
Brian.
same as the object, if it moves the same as the object we throw, then a car will have the same Coriolis as a plane. If they're
No,
moving
that's
at
not the same.
speed.
It's not the same because cars and planes have powered motion. The bowling ball or the basketball on the merry-go-round is not powered.
The powered flight fallacy? No,
It's
that
not
will
a
not work.
fallacy.
Yes,
They
it is.
experience
Powered flight
Coriolis.
fallacy.
The airplanes do experience Coriolis.
They do
but
not. You have to now prove that
They
the
absolutely
Earth is
do.
in motion. They absolutely don't. You have not proven. You have not proven that the Earth is in motion.
There is zero evidence that planes experience any Coriolis.
Well, they don't have to account for it because it's so small.
Listen, I'm telling you guys,
No,
in order for
500
them, in order
miles
for them to
difference
prove something-
in tangential speed is not small, especially in one particular vector.
in order for them to prove something has the Earth-based Coriolis, you need to view something from the inertial frame and view something from the non-inertial frame. You can see the deviation and not deviation. That's how we do it on Earth. That's how we prove.
Why couldn't you just see the deviation?
Godzilla 37. Brenda makes me so mad that it makes Brandon money. Oh yeah, I never put those two and two together. We'll have to have Brenda on more often, Godzilla. Thanks for pointing that out. $5. Thank you very much.
No.
Like a hurricane, yeah.
Yeah, so hurricanes prove that the Earth is spinning. Every hurricane, every cyclone proves
Oh my
that
God.
the Earth spins.
They're caused by pressure systems.
Yeah. When are we gonna not? When are we gonna
Straight
not
into
let these
madness,
trolls-
huh?
Yeah. When are we gonna not let these trolls on this show? It's insane.
We gotta.
This isn't
Fuck
trolling.
them.
If you do the research and look it up, you will find on the certain websites that they will label hurricanes as being due to the result of the Coriolis effect.
Wow, they said
rotation of
something on
the
a
Earth.
website. I went to a Scientology website and it said that all of us are infested with these things called thetans that were like shot out of a volcano hundreds of thousands of years ago. So that must be true.
They teach it in college, Brandon.
Oh, they teach it in college. Well, then it 100% definitely must be true. They never taught taught bloodletting in college.
Yeah, that's where I first learned about the Coriolis was in college.
Hey, are you a religious person, Left Lane? Do you believe in God? Just either way. Yeah? No? No? So you know they have whole colleges devoting to teaching about Jesus and Christianity and stuff.
Sure.
And they have like colleges for other religions too, which I suppose you would think are false. So just because something's taught in college, I guess that doesn't make it true, does it, Left Lane?
Well, I would imagine that if they were talking about weather and things like that, even in the religious college, like the one that I attended, Bethel College in West Tennessee, that's where I learned.
Why don't you
about
answer his question though, Left Lane?
That's where I learned my Coriolis was at Bethel.
Why
College.
don't you answer his question, Left Lane?
I did.
I think the
maybe
answer
you
was
need
pretty
to repeat
obvious.
your question again, Brendan.
Yeah, I said just because they teach something in college doesn't necessarily mean it's true. Is that correct, Left Lane? Yes or no?
Yes, but you said something about Christian colleges, and that's actually where I learned about the Coriolis was in a Christian college.
See, he can't answer it because he knows I'm right, and he can't just say no. It doesn't mean it's true just because it's taught in college, because he thinks then that somehow takes away from his lame argument about hurricanes.
Reality.
So
reality.
it isn't.
Oh,
it isn't
reality.
true.
Oh, a lot of people think they know about reality. Most religions think they're teaching about reality. I don't think heliocentrism is any different in that respect. Anyway, can you look at my screen? I'm sharing something. It is a pictorial, like a data of hurricanes mapped onto a map projection. You know, this came up the other night. I'm kind of changing the speed here of things, but what we found interesting was that there are no hurricanes in this area, and it did get brought up that maybe there's no data, but
no, that's
a
not
lot
why.
of these don't show. I don't think we could find one that had a bunch of hurricanes in South America. Does anybody know why there's this just like empty spot here? There's another one like over Africa.
They don't go. They don't derive from there. So it's like the
Oh,
ones in
that's
the east,
weird.
the ones in the- the ones in the
Does
southern
the
equator,
Earth
they usually-
rotate differently in this area around South America and
Why is it
Africa,
colder?
or can anybody tell me about how the Earth rotates in this area that hurricanes don't get created?
Well,
I think they
hurricane
get created.
storm.
Yeah, they're
Yes,
usually don't they get
depending
created
on
on like
weather.
Well, you said that
Typhoons.
hurricanes happen because of Earth rotation. Does the Earth
No,
rotate differently
no.
in this area, or what?
They rotate. They
that's not what
rotate
we said.
because of that.
I just
Yeah.
want to mention that they're
Oh, oh.
about to become experts on the subject. Okay, just pay attention, guys.
Yes. So why are there no hurricanes in this area? What is it about this area where the Earth rotation is different?
Hurricanes
no
are
idea.
not caused by rotation. Hurricanes are caused by weather, by high and low pressure systems.
Oh,
The
is that right?
rotation-
Thank you,
the
Left Lane. I
rotation-
appreciate you mentioning that. That's a great point.
The rotation of the big storm is due to the Coriolis.
Well, that's weird. So they're not created due to the Earth rotation. They're not created due to Coriolis, obviously, because that would be more consistent, I would think. Since there
They
is
spin
supposedly Earth
because of
rotation and Coriolis in this area, isn't there?
their
There
rotation.
must be
is the
other
spin of the
forces
Earth.
at play that create hurricanes and influence where they are.
Like the sun, maybe, Brandon.
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, if it's the sun, you would expect them there too. Doesn't the sun go through the equator there?
Yeah, it's definitely odd. Why is there this hole where there's no hurricanes? That is my
You should ask a
legitimate question.
meteorologist. You should
Yeah,
ask a
conditions are
meteorologist.
conducive.
Brenda, you're an
Yeah,
expert on
conditions.
everything. You come in here and tell us how stupid
no,
we
I
all
have no
are and
idea.
how we don't know anything. You know everything.
I have no idea. I don't know. That's why I'm
Oh.
not saying anything about it. That's why I'm saying you should ask a meteorologist.
Okay. So then you don't know anything about why hurricanes spin in which direction they do either then, right? Since you're not a meteorologist.
The spin is due to Coriolis.
Oh, you know that. How come you don't need to be a meteorologist to know that? That's weird. Yeah.
That was weird. Yeah, Brenda.
Huh?
Can you tell me why there's the distinction? You have to be a
you
meteorologist to
didn't
tell me
learn
why
the
there's no
other part when
hurricanes
you-
here, but you sure the fuck know why they spin due to Coriolis, and you're not a meteorologist. Why the contradiction there, Brenda?
What's the contradiction?
You're too stupid to know the contradiction, Brenda?
Yes, I am. I'm too stupid to know the
Good.
contradiction.
Then you can go
What
on
is it?
mute because you're obviously full of shit. Next.
That was
Anybody else want to take a crack at telling us why there's no hurricanes over South America? All right. Open topic. If anybody's got anything they want to bring up, feel free. No? Don Gio around?
We've been having good conversations in here for the past week or two. So if anyone wants to come fuck with us during the day,
Yeah, it'd probably be temperature for that hurricane thing. Probably be temperature. The temperature differential, depending on how it is there compared to like a colder region and a hot region mixed in a certain area. That's what I'd guess. Temperature.
That is exactly it.
Humidity.
That's how they are formed, through temperature variations or differentials colliding.
Brandon, you have
I've been
predictions?
in so many hurricanes, people, and I'm right here on the east coast of Florida, so I've seen them.
We got a new contestant.
Go ahead, bud.
Sorry. No, I was gonna say we got a new contestant. Chike is here.
Yeah, I just
had
want
a
to
tree
ask
come
Brandon.
through, tree come to my roof, and that would disclaim Coriolis. Wind blowing the opposite way. But
Hey, we were just trying to open the mic for Chikey there, Brian.
It's all his, buddy.
I just wanted to ask Brandon if he has a prediction for Renty.
No, not yet. Ranty's going out this weekend. I think he said Saturday, but either Saturday or Sunday to take a picture, recreate basically what Coolpix 900 put out, Blackpool picture. And I'm going to make a prediction about where I think the objects are going to be in the shot through the auto level prior to him taking the auto level shot. So today's Tuesday, last time I looked at a calendar. And I'm still working on it, Chikey.
Hang on. I'm just hearing about this now. What's he doing with an auto level?
Oh, cool. He's taking a picture through an auto level.
With an auto level.
By the way,
Yeah.
I can answer your.
So he's becoming a tool of his own. Hang on. Just give me 1 second, please. So he's taking an auto level, and he's gonna shoot it how far?
90 miles.
That's a long ways.
Yeah, you're only supposed to shoot that thing about 50 meters.
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
70
Why is that?
meters.
Yeah, we know, we
Get
know.
an accurate reading.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're not really going for accuracy here. He's just taking a
It's not
picture.
horizontal after 90.
Brandon, that's
90
all I'm
miles,
gonna
yeah.
say to the matter, because I'm gonna get rumpus for telling y'all that's not what the tool is designed to
Rob, all we're using auto level for in this case is so that we have a horizontal frame of reference and know where eye level is in the fucking picture. That's it.
do. No, I get it, but it ain't. It's not
We're not
gonna tell you
measuring
where your eye
anything.
level should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it's a waste because it's a tool. The tool is designed to do a job. If you're not going to use the tool the way it was designed to do its job, you might as well throw it in the fucking garbage.
He's
Oh,
right.
seriously. So
Let me tell you,
I
Brandon,
have a
let's
knife.
do it anyway. Hold on, y'all. I've got
I
hours
have
and
a
hours
knife.
of observation to an auto level. I just take my fucking auto level to the beach just to look through the motherfucker. So let me
Yeah,
tell you,
so-
check the weather. Brandon, check the weather and the time of day. if it's early morning or evening, you're going to get less drop in the distance. Okay. And if it's hot, if it's super hot, heat of the day, your prediction just drops shit way the fuck off in the distance, man. You lose visibility. When the humidity gets up real high, you lose a little humidity, you lose a little vision toward the ground. There seems to be more refraction. Shit seems a little bit lower in the distance.
That's
so
not going to be.
I advise that for your prediction.
That's
I'm
not
not
going
worried
to be
about
consistent.
refraction.
Yeah, that's not going to be consistent everywhere you go, Brian. A lot of times when you talk about that stuff, I disagree with what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm not worried about refraction. Anyway, so that's going to happen this weekend. I'm going to make it makes me sick to even say the word prediction. I'm going to tell them where I think the objects in the picture are going to be within the frame relative to eye level. And then I'm going to debate Ruhith, and Ranty is going to moderate. I tried to talk Ranty into debating the subject, and he said that's between you and Ruhith. So at least he'll be there to listen.
Brandon, very important. Brandon, use my refraction table and you'll get it fucking spot on, dude. If he's using auto level, use my refraction chart and you'll get the shit spot fucking on.
I got
dude.
some surprises for you guys coming. Just trust me on this one. I got some surprises coming.
Looking forward to it. And Travis, yeah, I agree, man. I can only account for what I see here on the East Coast. I see different shit in your photos. Absolutely. Doesn't seem to coexist with the shit I see. So it varies everywhere pretty much is what he's saying. He's right.
Also coming up, Rumpus is out getting ready for his test, his observation. He has agreed to give me the test plan before he goes out and takes his actual pictures, and conducts the test.
For the
so I'll
fourth
also be
consecutive
predicting
year.
what we'll see in that test ahead of time.
Tell him to wear his swim trunks.
He doesn't want to give me the exact positions of his targets and whatnot. I think he's paranoid that probably rightly so.
Wait,
but
Brandon,
Mike will
see,
clear
this
it
is
up.
where I have a problem. I have a problem with this. Isn't science supposed to be shared so that other people can replicate the
It will be
test?
shared. It will be shared.
yeah, he
It
just
will
doesn't
be
want to give it away ahead
You
of time
don't
because
want
he's afraid
Dev
somebody's going to go
going
out there
and
and
steal his poll there.
steal the
Don't
post or
rub it.
wreck him.
Right.
The semi-empirical test. by Rumpus.
Like which of us would puss out and do that? None of us. None of us flat earthers would ever not share where we are shooting our data. Absolutely
He's
not.
going to.
While we're doing it.
Where did
He said
Dev
2
get
days
it?
before. He said he's going to
nameless,
share it
dude.
2 days before.
He don't want anybody to see his face because he knows he's fucking wrong. All these people were debating.
Oh, everything will be
Howard.
on.
I say Howard and George, with the exception of Howard and George, we're debating fictitious fucking characters with no name.
Dude.
Chaiki, fucking
Dude.
Biodual, Rumpus.
I'm
All these
waiting for
motherfuckers
the
are nameless
Bev.
fucking cowards. They're cowards.
I'm coward. I'm waiting for the Bev video, which he already did. It's not in the future. It's in the past already. Where is it?
Why didn't you join when it was available?
Again? Now
It
why
was
did
available live. You should have been
why
there.
don't you join
You've
when
been
it
on
will be
Discord all the
online?
fucking time. You knew it was going to happen.
Did he publish
What's wrong
where
with
he's
you?
going
Shut
to?
up.
Did he publish where he's going to do it before he did? Stop your
None of us can
nonsense,
speak
okay?
for Bev here, Chaiki.
Absolutely, but don't ask from Rumpus what you didn't ask from Bev.
Yeah, that's true. No, I was going to defend Rumpus and say that I understand why he's not publishing it way ahead of time, honestly. Because there are malicious people out there, and Rumpus is very well hated. Not by me.
I mean, honestly, can you? I can't even think of any flat earther who's going to be, malevolent or hostile towards another human being.
You never know, though, Travis. He's got so much time into
However,
it. Why take that chance? I mean, I
I would
understand
be
where he's
open to
coming
bribes. I will.
See, there you go.
He will do it online, open for everyone, not in some hidden channel, and you'll be able to
I'm
see
up with
what
Rumpus a
he's
lot, but I
doing,
do
where
not
he's
hate
doing
Rumpus,
it,
y'all. I
everything.
don't hate Rumpus for a second.
Brian, your mic's really low for some reason.
I'm gonna try and fix it, but I was trying to say I don't hate Rumpus, man. I fuck with him a lot all the time. He fucks with me, but everything but hate Rumpus. I even hope George is all right, man. They see differently than me, but you know, George is ballsy enough to say his real name. He's a real person out there doing tests, and his dog's all right. I found out, which is a good thing because his house burned down and shit. He's my opposition, but I don't hate these motherfuckers. I think the ones that are nameless are cowards because they're scared. So that's the reason Rumpus don't want anybody out there, because then you'd see his fucking face, and he's a fucking coward. But
You know who I don't like, Brian? You know, the thought that kind of irritates me is if there were people, say, in this community who were here just to deceive or mislead the public in some way, to spread misinformation or ridicule people or deceive, you know, those 5 Ds. If there were people in this community who were here to do that, like that was their job, fuck them. That's some scummy shit.
I agree. That's why we're here, though.
Anyway.
Because they don't get away with shit. We've pretty much cleaned our own kitchen around here. I mean, reasonably. I mean, if the Globers are going to say anything, they got to give us that to a decent point. You know, we clean our own kitchen. We don't let total bullshit get caught. We wish they'd do the same and stand behind some of their claims. I mean, I understand all their arguments. Just because I don't agree with them, I understand. Even the bullshit Coriolis, I understand what they're saying. It just doesn't work in real life. They can't demonstrate it.
Well, there's a lot they can't demonstrate. Anyway, Gleam, what's going on with you, man?
I got a good one if he don't. Now, let's think about this. Gleam, I'm glad Gleam is here. So, Gleam, let's say we had stars up directly overhead. Let's say 1,000,000 miles. 1,000,000 miles. They're point source lights, so they are as big as we see miles away, and they're spaced out 69 miles from each other. Okay, how would that work as far as parallax? So if I had a star Polaris directly over my head, the next star over is 69 miles over. It's 1,000,000 away, but for it to be over my head, I still have to travel 69 miles to get that star directly over my head. At what point would that cut off? I mean, I know they're going to try and say the distance is going to make it shrink, but just considering their point source lights, it seems like we have a pretty big window, probably between like 3,000-4,000 and a few million, really, to make the case that it's a flat plane of stars above us. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
It would be fractional on if it was 69 miles that end, if you know what I mean. So if you're staying still here on Earth and there's 1,000,000 miles above you a star, and then you move the star 69 miles away from you and look up again, you're not going to notice any difference there. It's going to be fractional because it's so distant. But yeah, if you had them dotted all the way to the horizon, you've got to think though there is that compression bit at the end where it all squashes into one, which is where it happens on the globe as well, where the refraction happens.
But that is what would happen on a flat Earth. I mean, what we see is pretty much what we would expect for perspective. Would you agree with that?
Did you swallow your mic, Brent?
Yeah, I heard what you said, even though it sounded like you were in NASA pool.
Sorry about that.
No worries. But yeah, it's all dependent. It's not expected to see. From my point of view, it's more there is a different perspective or view to what we see as humans and hear from Earth, even with cameras, as to what you would see if you were God looking down on the system. So yes, there would be that perspective if you had a row of stars just equal distance above the Earth, 1,000,000 miles, and keep going off into the distance, it will merge into the horizon. Yes. As far as star trails are concerned, Steve's done that model, but in as much as perspective, there are some. I mean, it's not even in science, in globe Earth science, figured out yet. So for me to act any confident and say, yeah, that definitely matches. Yeah, that's always matching all the time. I can't say that because
That's why I like you. That's why I like
mainstream
Gleam.
science can do it.
Gleam is honest, and sometimes we don't always want to hear his opinions and what he's learned, but he's honest, and that usually, that should tell you something. 9 out of 10, that backs up the flat Earth argument. It doesn't always, because he calls it how he sees it, but that should tell the globers something, that somebody neutral calling it how they see it and backing shit up with citations and research and examples and demonstrations, backs us up more often than not. Shout out to Gleam.
But yeah, when's your actual debate, Brandon? With Randy?
We haven't set the
Ruger?
exact date and time yet. I'm hoping sometime next week. He's in
It's
Australia,
interesting.
so it's going to be tough to get a time set down. I think he's in Australia.
Was it originally Ranty and then it changed to Ranty's going to be hosting it?
Yeah, I think that was my misunderstanding that Ranty was going to debate. Because when I went to talk to him about it, he was like, "Oh, not debating you."
I think Ranty's busy. I think Ranty's busy believing in the moon landings, man. He's spending all his time right now reevaluating the horse shit they give us.
Buying flags and practicing putting them in sand.
No, I think Ranty was too busy putting a video out about flat Earth debate last night and me about the blue moon and claiming that I'm saying that the actual moon is physical and blue over the actual question of why we're even seeing the look sometimes that it appears blue, because apparently he fucking doesn't get it. And it's Ranty of all people, which really pisses me the fuck off, because I've had the man on my show and he knows damn well I know that the moon is not a damn blue physical thing. Are you kidding me?
I got a whole, if it'll make you feel better, look, I got a video of Ranty asking questions lately and answering condescendingly and shooting people down, shooting himself down with the old Ranty. I haven't put the video out yet. I will soon when I completely finish it, when I'm satisfied with it. But I got old Ranty asking the questions, and I mean new Ranty asking the questions, and old Ranty pretty much telling him how stupid he is and explaining it.
Logan's Run, $5. I'll second Godzilla. Brenda makes me so mad that it makes Brandon money. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Logan's. And Swamp Boy 34. If they are right, then why don't all of the waves spin like the bowling ball? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Well, you do hear a lot about car accidents caused by Coriolis. Go ask Bob, the science guy, about that. He'll tell you all about it, how cars have to correct for Coriolis. Thanks, Swamp Boy 34, US $4.99, much appreciated.
About 2 months ago, I contacted Conspiracy Cats, and I said, "Go on then, me versus you. I don't care if there's more than one of you. You, Ranty, and Ruhiv all at the same time, and we'll go through this Blackpool." So he said, "Yep, we'll do it in. We'll put it in for this week, 2 weeks time. La la la." Just before we got, I think it was the Wednesday or something. Something's cropped up. We're having a mega birthday weekend, or it was Fight the Flat Earth weekend or something like that. Can't do it we'll rearrange it, and it never got rearranged. And I did contact
Hey, when he wants to do it, call him out, man. If they want to bring more than one person, Gleam, put me on your team, Gleam. You got to have a little hostility on your side, man. I'll let you do most of the talking.
But yeah, it's odd but good in one way. And I mean, I'll fire you across the documents I already had prepared, and you obviously knew about that boy one. I will say, I asked Ruhiv directly, please calculate it. He went away and gave a rough calculation, which would turn the buoy into probably about a 10-meter buoy, where he assumed it was 6 foot. And in order for him to be 6 foot, he would have to be on the island beforehand. But either way, I'll chat to you in the inbox on that. But yeah,
Good.
it's interesting.
You hear that, Bob? Hopefully, Bob, the science guy, hears that. Do you see? There's a buoy. You can talk. The little buoy on the water. Okay, so your calculations don't work, Bob. Sorry.
All right, that sounds good, Gleam. Yeah, thank you. I didn't know that's what you were preparing for, because you showed me some of that stuff. I didn't realize that it was supposed to be a
I literally
3-on-1.
tore it apart. I had a conversation, or tried to have a conversation with Ruhif, and this is what made me block him. I just literally said, yeah, this is what I've been doing, la la la. I've made it this amount of pixels per degree. And he's immediately shot at me. He's just all guns blazing, going, "You're an idiot. You've done your maths wrong. It can't be that. It's much bigger than that. It's this. 797 pixels squared per pixel per degree." So I was like, "No, wait there. Are you sure that we're just not using two different size photos? What size did you use?" And he kept on going with his arrogance. You're a prick. You don't know what you're on about, this, that, and the other. I've got a big stream of messages. And I was just like, Ruhif, go and check what I just said a minute ago about the sizes. And all it was he chose the 5K version. I chose the 4K version. Or it may have been he chose the 4K and I chose the next one down, the HD version. And when you calculate it out, they work out identical. So I
it just changed the aspect ratio or something.
Yeah, it's the amount of pixels that are in the actual picture.
Oh,
Obviously,
gotcha.
when you yeah. So obviously mine would be less because I used a lower quality with less pixels, and he had more. But he didn't realise that, and I just let him rant for about. I must have 10, 15 messages of him thinking he's got one over on me and just doing a b-ball basically, and then realising his error. And still firing. So I wish you all the luck, and I'm gonna give you all the tools I got. Yeah,
Cool, man.
definitely. Yeah. But
Speaking of b-ball, what happened with him the other night? That was pretty funny.
He had to take his video down and be lying, did he? He basically put up. This is the hilarious thing. Yeah, I promote that Steve Torrance model, and I'm glad he did it really, because it actually proves I'm disconnected from Steve Torrance and FE Core. But I spoke to that Steve Torrance back in 2016, 2017, something like that, and I just questioned one part of his model, which he actually admitted. He said, "Oh yeah, you're actually right. I'm going to update that little figure." And it was nothing. It was nothing major. I cannot say I helped him do the model. But I just highlighted that there was a figure there that I'd calculated that he'd got a different one in there. And so on and so on. Anyway, so that's 5 years ago. Yeah, Beeble's gone on his video and said, "Did Gleam help you make this model?" And Steve Torrance obviously doesn't know me from Adam. I spoke to him for 20 seconds back in 2016 in Facebook. Yeah, and he's gone, "Who the hell's Gleam? Don't know who you're on about." No, he didn't help me make this model. Yeah, so immediately Beeble's gone out there, published a video, took all his time out, carefully put it all together, saying Gleam's a liar.
I don't know.
He's told
I don't know about. Go ahead.
Well, he was just basically saying, look, Gleam thinks he helped Steve Torrance with this model and this, that, and the other, and it turns out Steve don't even know who Gleam is. Ha ha ha. So then in Discord, I just goes, well, either way, I've got the screenshot. I've still got, obviously Facebook doesn't delete stuff. So I took a screenshot of the inbox between me and Steve, and blatantly took his video down. Now, the interesting thing about it is he'd done a community post on his YouTube saying, "I'm going to be honest. I'm a very honest man, you see, because I'm very honest. And I take down videos when someone gives me overwhelming evidence which supports them," which Gleam did. So I took my video down. But he still hasn't explained the model. Now, if anyone was in on the back chat, it wasn't on a live, it was on Saturday, I think. But if anyone was in there, they heard me explain. He drew this big 1,000 mile stick man, and he could still see the sun. And he goes, "Well, how's this work then? How can sunsets even work when you can still see the sun up here?" And I goes, "Well, you're not 1,000 miles high for a start, so it's a different perspective, and you can't see over the other side of the earth like you can with that 1,000 mile high thing." And he's literally put in this so-called, I'm so honest. He's basically put, "But Gleamer's not explained this," when I explained it straight after. And then there is a barrage. If anyone goes to look, it's hilarious. There's a barrage of about 6 distractions of him trying to distract away from that point, making up new lies. And now he's gone, "Don't worry, Gleam, you've got another video coming out." And I'm just like, oh my God, these people. I goes,
Anybody?
what benefit does it
Yeah.
have of you? I'm not a flat earther. I'm not a globe earther. So it's
You want
only
to hear
a person
B-ball
who can
lying to
better.
his teeth?
No, I'm
Go to
next.
Platter
I'm next,
Test.
bro.
Go on, I'll
Go
bow
ahead, real
out.
quick,
Sorry,
real
I'll
quick,
Google.
Jeremy. Real quick, Jeremy. Go to Platter Test. Look at B-ball lying through his teeth. It's about halfway down, and listen to B-ball's honesty.
Listen, this is why I got B-ball on my top 10 Glober list, or my bad, top 10 worst Glober list. Right? He's in the top 10. He's not good. That's all. He's in there with Naps and Lael and maybe M Stone. You know what I mean?
But come on, Jeremy.
Yeah,
I was getting ready for something
G?
more juicy, bro.
I got him in there with Left Lane and shit. You know
Who
what I'm
else?
saying?
Sean
Like,
Hawkins.
those group of people.
Yeah,
Sean
this is it.
Hawkins.
Oh, I got Sean Hawkins raging. Oh man, he's I
That's a
challenge
good-
you. You're a fucking liar. Because I see him pop up when he goes live, and I go in there and I tell him he's my favorite comedian because I want him to know I appreciate his work. And I tell him all kinds of other shit. He is just fucking fit to be tied. It's hilarious. Thank you, Sean. Thanks for being you, buddy.
Bro, post that video you made on him that one time a while back.
Oh yeah,
Remember that video you did?
Oh yeah.
Post that. That shit is hilarious. He's like, I
Nah,
didn't smoke crack. I smoked meth or some shit. I forget what he said. I don't know. It was hilarious.
Classic. Nah, the most recent one was Raichi. 5-0, isn't it? Raichi put up a snippet of him saying that ring laser gyros don't have plasma in. And it's hilarious. I've cited some on there, and Honeywell themselves and whatnot. But this one guy, Stuart Gray, I think it is, and Dog Walker, come into White Knight for Sean, and it's so funny. They're all going, no, they don't operate from lasers at all. They're all laser diodes, which are the new ones, the newer ones. And they're all going, yeah, you should look up, as if I'm a flat earther, you should look up the rotation of the Earth. They're done with ring laser gyros. And the most hilarious thing about it, and the irony of all of it, is that the most precise and most important geodetic surveying observatories who actually measure the rotation of the Earth do with Heaney plasma ring laser gyros. It's hilarious. They're literally denying something that they're telling me to go and look up as evidence. It's so funny. It's so funny, the amount of ball of mistakes that I see. It's the
It's
reason
crazy.
why
I don't think they care about mistakes. They just
Yeah.
it's just the 5Ds, man. Just deny, degrade, all that shit.
Mm.
This is what B-Ball calls a debunk. Okay, don't mind Chad's writing on here that shows where the eye level is, which is very good information, Chad. Thank you very much. See this little red stick figure down here? And he's looking up at, I think that's supposed to be a star, the sun maybe.
That's the sun. That's the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is
Sun and the
in
moon.
some kind of orthographic view. This is obviously not how you view the Earth, right? This is not what Steve was trying to say. This is B-Ball's idea of a debunk. To draw this stick figure here and have him look up at the sun over here and say, why can't you see the sun at the night? And he wants to be taken seriously.
Hold on, did this come from B-Ball?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
take a
the actual
screenshot
model
of that.
behind it.
Yeah, not
take
the
a
eye level
screenshot
thing.
of
That's
that. We can
Chad.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, the model behind it, Steve Torrance's flat Earth model. And bear in mind, it's a bit bigger than that because the sun is only lighting up half of it.
Well, let's
But
see
where
what
he's-
B-Ball did.
Yeah, B-Ball drew the actual stickman on it.
The stickman with the arrow looking up at the sun.
That's
The
it.
stickman?
The 1,000 mile high stickman with a massive eyeball the size of Everest, looking apparently up to a star.
He's got to be just trying to waste our time, right?
It's literally, he's trying to recruit flat earthers. I think some of these have a secret agenda. I think they have an ulterior motive of act dumb, the dumbest globe earther you can, to recruit more flat earthers. Because it seems.
Oh, you
that
think they're
flat
just
earthers-
playing stupid?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
most of them are stupid.
Either that or inadvertently recruiting flat earthers.
Say the people who cannot understand relative motion.
Jake, you're in a category with B-ball.
Right.
But little
Where's eye
B-ball's
level,
little thing
Jake?
there is about as stupid as me asking someone,
Chad,
show me where the
Chad,
base of the globe is. How come I don't see the base?
Ask Brandon where his eye level, because he needs to predict it.
Is that the eye level in the thing I did?
That's the correct eye level.
Check.
yeah.
I don't know if-
Soon enough for eye level is.
I don't know if you know, Chuck, but you're in the top 10 dumbest Glovers that in this
That's
community.
okay. That's okay.
I put him in top 5. Like,
Yeah.
No, I don't know if he's top 5, man.
that's
You
top.
don't
Brenda is
understand
in
relative
Brenda's in
motion.
the top 3.
Listen, Silent, you don't understand relative motion. I can't
don't
take
understand
any
anything.
offense. I can't take any offense of what you say.
Danik, Brenda, and Rumpus been toe tagged, numpty clipped so many times. I lost track.
You can laugh, but I can't take offense of what you say because you don't even understand the simplest thing.
That doesn't mean anything, Chuck. You know that, right?
It does.
Well, I mean, in your head, I know it does. In your head, yes.
It works
It's
out
like
this.
everything that you think.
Sorry about
What
that.
don't
man.
we
Go ahead.
understand, Mike? That's so simple. What don't we understand?
I
Oh,
try to
he's a
explain
math head,
relative
Jerry.
motion to
And all these math heads, bro. Look at the national Stanford level achievement test. All these math heads. Look at their fucking comprehension skills test. They did great in math. All the top 2%. Most of them scored 70% in comprehension, dude. They're smart
you
in math,
say-
but they have no comprehension, man.
Did you say math heads or meth heads? Shut up.
Math heads. Shout out.
Can I
math
just
heads,
add?
the ones that are too good at math? That's why I like right where I'm at. I understand trig and fucking and geometry and shit like that. But when it comes to the fucking next level math and shit, I have to take my sweet time at that. But when you start these people like Chaiki and Rumpus, and they lack in common sense. Where the brain helps them in math, they lose in common sense, man. So that's why they don't understand basic level argument.
And Gleam, if you can just add, then you're obviously not a math head, bro.
Hey Jeremy, where's
I'll
M
get
Stone
it.
in
That
that
was
top
so
10 of
good.
yours? Where's he fit in there?
Oh God, it's tough because he hasn't been on a lot of shows, so we don't have him saying. I mean, I've heard him say a lot of. He just doesn't have any arguments. He's up there, but.
And M Stone's with us now, Jeremy.
Yeah, he's up there in the dumb. Well, I got him on mute. So hold on, let me turn him up. I call him Mumble.
Jeremy,
One more
are you
I got him
smarter
turned
than
on
I am?
low.
Are you smarter than I am, Jeremy?
He most definitely is.
Didn't you go to UT Austin? M.
Yeah,
Stone?
I'm asking Jeremy, the one-eyed janitor. Not you.
See, this is all he's got. That's all he's got. He doesn't.
No, I'm not.
insult.
Are you smarter than me?
He calls names. He'll make up some nonsense argument. No, you want to argue
Jeremy,
over who's
What
smarter?
are you smarter than me in?
You want to argue over?
Is
He
there
wants to
anything-
argue over
is
who's
there
smarter.
anything You know a lot about, Jeremy.
Like his arguments are just terrible.
This
Yeah,
isn't
you
an
have no
argument.
argument.
I'm asking you a fucking question, dipshit.
Yo, Brandon.
He's
Brandon,
smarter. Answer one
Brandon's
question.
asking
Answer this
kindly.
question. I'll tell you if he's smarter or not. M
Brian,
Stone.
Fuck, dude, you're dumb as two.
Hold on, M Stone. Do you think
You
we
got
should
nothing.
see Spain from if the Earth was flat? Do you think we should see Spain from the east coast of the United States, M Stone?
The fucking Earth isn't flat, dipshit.
It's a simple
Brandon,
question, Craig.
Brenda's
Yeah.
kindly
Simple
asking
question,
for you to
Craig.
unmute her.
Satisfied.
Oh boy, all right.
Oh boy.
Jeremy, is there anything
Sounds
you
like
know
a Quantum
lot
Leap
about
episode.
cleaning shitters?
That's all you got, Stone. What,
Is
you want to
there
make an
anything-
argument
no,
or
what have
you
got?
want to make an argument or debate on something?
What have you got, Jeremy? What do you know a lot about?
I'll make an argument and debate just to take it away from a dick waving contest. Did you know,
Dick
Chike?
waving contest, man.
Yeah,
What
did
does
you know,
Jeremy know about?
Chike? Yeah, listen. Wait there. Did you know, Chike, that relative motion isn't all that, considering John Bell taught special relativity and relativity in forms of absolute motion? Did you know that?
Nope. Teach me.
Okay, now if you look up on John Stuart Bell's wiki page and look at it down in the bottom bit, teachings of special relativity, you'll see he taught Lorenz's, which is basically relativity with an absolute reference frame, which is indistinguishable from any other relative reference frame.
Like all the NASA documents.
Where this reference frame is.
Now
And
just
that's
to
some
briefly
bullshit on
explain
that
who John
premise
Bell
right
is,
there.
That
John
premise
Bell
doesn't exist.
basically
Thank you.
proved quantum mechanics is quantum mechanics.
What?
Repeat that.
But anyway, I'll let you
That
read
is
this.
Stupidity.
I'll let you read this.
What's your channel name, by the way?
Mine?
Yes.
Why do you want mine?
But I have my reason.
Don't give it to him. Don't give it
I
to
have
him.
my reasons.
What? You don't want
Hey,
these?
it's not really hard to find.
No, if you give me that name, it wouldn't be any problem.
It's
to
on
find.
my profile right here. It's not hard to find. Gleam is my brand. Yeah. Get used to it. It's going to be in your dreams, in your nightmares, everything for years.
It's called People
What-
Adjust
what
Your Brightness.
It's like an
channel?
invisible tattoo, just
You can see
permanently
him in
there
your
forever
sleep.
now.
It's complicated, Jake. It's complicated.
Complicated.
You wouldn't understand, man. But I want to hear the. They did all these NASA documents and everything for the ballistic tables and all this stuff. I want to see the if they did all the math over a flat, non-rotating Earth. I want to see the
math they
equation.
can't do.
Hold on. I want to see the equation they have for adjusting it to a curved Earth. Why would they do the fucking math over a flat, non-rotating Earth just to adjust it to a curved Earth? I bet the adjustment equals out just perfectly to a flat, non-rotating Earth. I bet almost anything.
Hey Brian, they don't have to do anything special. You just fly a plane as if you're over a flat stationary plane, and everything works out magically.
Yeah, they keep the same.
It's like your simulator
Lazy, huh?
and their fucking equations
right?
for their ballistics and their fucking missiles and the Department of Defense and NASA.
Brian, hold on.
and
Stone's got
Russia's
an
fucking
argument against
declassified
it. Hold on,
documents,
Brian.
okay? Yeah, it's,
Hold on.
they don't like
Hold on.
addressing
All right,
this shit.
Stone,
They
go
say,
ahead,
they
man.
didn't want to do the
Yeah,
math on
let's
a
hear
globe.
Stone.
You know?
You're
We're on a globe,
You're right,
but
Brian.
they wanted to do flat, non-rotating fucking equations because
Oh my
our
God.
rocket scientists couldn't understand the fucking math.
Brian,
All right.
Brian's got everybody turned
I
down.
never hear M. Stone
God,
defend
you're
anything.
smart,
Can I
Brian.
hear an argument come from M. Stone, like Jeremy said? I'd love to hear this.
Yeah, Stone, please enlighten us.
With what? What do you need enlightening on?
Oh,
Besides-
so anticlimactic, man.
What do you want me to argue against, man?
We silenced the
Anything.
room for you, man.
The absolute motion. There we go.
Absolute motion. So you get to pick a topic, and I'm supposed to just talk about
You
it.
just asked what?
Yeah. Tell us how stupid we are that no experiment could ever tell us if we're moving or if it's the other thing moving. Back that stupid shit up, M.
No, how about this? Stone, you pick the
So this
topic.
is just
Go
pick
ahead.
a topic, and I
You pick the topic.
Yes, you pick the
We'll give
topic.
you home court
No.
advantage. Let's go.
Okay, let's go with the shape of the Earth. Who here knows the shape of the Earth? Stacy, why don't you pipe up, girlfriend?
Yeah, this guy's definitely top one glober.
Jeremy, Jeremy, just slew him. Seriously, if he's coming up with this is hilarious.
This is your argument. Don't come in for me, the white knight. You,
Stacy, shut the fuck up, you dumb bitch, man.
I actually might not even put.
No need, bro.
Oh, Jesus, Stone. Come on, man. Behave yourself. Fuck.
Intellectual people wouldn't need to do that.
You come in here telling us how smart you are and how much smarter you are than all flat earthers. Yeah, that's right. That's what I thought, Stone.
For the
you
record,
pussy.
I didn't.
He's gone.
That we can tell that we're moving as if we're moving through a substance. The thing is, they destroyed the framework by which we'd be able to prove movement the moment that framework did not give them the Copernican results that they wanted. And so they acted like we're not moving through a substance at all, effectively destroying the framework and the only framework that we have to prove if we're moving or not, namely whether or not we're moving through an ether. So you have to be careful with these globers. They're very shifty, very shady, and they want the Earth to move at all costs.
Some of them are really stupid though, just like Stone. And I feel like maybe we should have let him expose how stupid
He
some
left.
globers are for a
He
little
left.
bit longer.
He already left.
They have stole
Oh, there we go.
everything that we could use to prove our arguments. They have stole everything from perspective to so many other things, and they stole it. They fit it into their model, and they claim to be theirs.
How did we steal perspective? How would you even do that?
When you say Polaris,
when we know from perspective that anything that's above the level of the eyes ramps down and anything below the level of the eyes ramps up, like looking down a hallway. And eventually these two zones would sandwich together and make a horizon line.
I'm doing a project on lobotomy survivors. So if any of y'all got any stories you want to share with me, let me know.
You have any thoughts on the perspective argument that's currently happening? Or
Do you have any thoughts on it, Jeremy? Because I've never heard you fucking have a thought.
He was working on that lobotomy material for
When
the
they
past
move,
2 minutes.
I'll give you one example. I'll give Brenda one example, guys. I'll give Brenda one example. Is that Polaris thing when you guys are moving away from it, that you guys say is Earth curvature, when in reality it's just perspective that starts moving down.
Why does it disappear at the equator?
It doesn't. Nice try though.
It actually does. It actually
You can
does.
see it
just
like
merged into the
15
surface,
degrees
that's all. You're just
south
away from it.
latitude. You can see it like there's reports of like even 20 degrees south latitude. So
Because the Earth is tilted, right?
refraction.
One at a time, please.
There's
Don't
been
let's not
no proof
spiral out
of
of
tilt. No proof of tilt.
We
They
just gave
just
it to
assume
you.
it to explain seasons and to explain why we can see Polaris up to 20, 30 degrees south of the equator when it should be blocked by a hump of Earth curvature. It's just kind of like begging the question for their theory to work. And so if you're going to do that for your theory, then we'll have to do that for ours as well. What was that?
Can you substantiate that about the 34 degrees south and seeing Polaris?
Well,
Yeah,
the
he'll
burden of proof
substantiate
would
it.
be on you to substantiate that there's actual proof of a tilt. Namely, you'd have to show a fake NASA photo with the Earth tilting relative to some standard like the sun in the background. They never show that, therefore, the burden of proof for them has not been met. Therefore,
talking about
on
the
my
statement you
side,
just
I can
made.
only make assumptions as to
30
why
or
this
40
burden of
degrees
proof has
south.
never been met. But let me know when you can meet that
30 or
burden,
40
Kosho.
degrees
Thank
south.
you.
I'm strictly talking about the statement you had just made just a second ago about Polaris.
Lemon dropped. Oh, there he is.
Uh-oh. There you go.
Lemon, I was speaking specifically about the statement you just made. I never heard that before, and for all I know, it could be true. But it does seem way farther south than I've ever heard it being. I was wondering if there was anything.
They talk about it in Robotham's literature. Dubate talks about it from Robotham, all that. Sailors can see it up to 20, 30 degrees south of the equator when it should be blocked by a hump of Earth curvature.
Let's not
Again,
forget, Kosho.
Kosho.
Hold on
That's the
a
hump.
second. Hey, let's not forget, if you had a telescope powerful enough and the conditions were just right, you could see your own ass in the telescope. So,
Is that true?
deep south.
So Kosho, again, this goes back to primary claims, right? So when, I don't know. So when was it in your world where the tilt was first discovered? How did they discover that the Earth was tilted?
Kosho just say that's true unironical, Jeremy.
That's not,
was-
I didn't make that up. That's from Rumpus.
About 12 pints. About 12 pints it was.
The thing that Silent Zero had said, though, about the Polaris perspective, I think he's correct. That is, if you move away from it, it should appear to move lower. This is true. What's not true, though, is the rate at which it moves lower and the rate at which you're moving away from it. Because you move, it's a linear relationship, meaning that if you move 69 degrees, it goes down 1 degree, or 69 miles, it goes down 1 degree.
At one point, at a certain point, you're gonna start watching that start through a lot of atmosphere, I'm gonna call it that, whatever. So yeah, the measurements are gonna change. It's just like when the moon, it's up, you see it small, and then when you start seeing it through the atmosphere, it starts to get bigger and change color. It's the same thing. You're gonna see the light is gonna be affected by the atmosphere. So your measurements are bullshit. Okay.
Besides
that, hold on.
Kango 24, $5, New Zealand. Did I miss the show when you guys proved images from space are all fake? No. But why would we have to do that? Can you prove they're real? Can you prove any of them are real? Can you prove a single one is real? You show us the chain of custody and how you proved a single one of the images from NASA is real. We'll wait.
Step foot on the moon, the guy who circled around it said he didn't remember seeing any stars, any planets, anything.
Why was that?
So Kosho, can we go back to what you said? What did you say about the consistent drop of Polaris at 69 miles?
Yeah,
What did you say?
If you moved away from an object that was at some height, and you're moving away from it, and you're at 90 degrees at one point, you move, at intervals away from it, the same interval, the angle that it drops is not going to be linear. But if
why do they
not
disappear
flat
at
plane.
69 miles high?
Wait, what do you mean it's not going to be linear? Who says that it's linear?
This is what's known and it's measured and recorded, and nobody
No.
claims.
Okay, so what?
Nobody
Wait.
claims that it's any different than what I just said. Like, any latitude you're at, Polaris will be that elevation in the sky.
Okay, but wait. But when you move away from it, according to legend, when you move 69 miles, it drops 1 degree, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so but again, I'm trying to understand, why are you bringing in a linear reference frame for that? Why are you doing that?
Not bringing up reference frames, but I'm talking about the linear movement.
He's saying it could be at a linear rate of drop.
No, I don't want anybody to explain Kosho.
Silent Zero had just brought up how you move away from something, perspective says it's going to move lower in the sky. I agreed with him. I disagreed with the rate at which Polaris moves. Polaris doesn't move at a rate as if you're moving away from it on a flat plane. It moves away. It moves lower in a linear relationship.
I never claimed to be moving at any rate.
I
just say
I know you did.
down.
I know you
All
did.
right. So you guys build this model. You guys build this model in your head.
So that's
not a straw man. I'm not. It's not a straw man. I agree with that. He never said it. He never says the rate it moves. I'm telling you that the rate it moves is not. It doesn't correlate with the flat surface.
No. It
oh, it's an argument of incredulity. Oh.
Hold on.
Wait.
That's based on your bullshit model that you have made up, bro. What the hell?
It's based on geometry. It's observed. Yeah.
That's
y'all totally fucking flew by my point. Why didn't Michael Collins see stars? He was up there for 3 days.
That's a different
subject. That's a different subject, Brian.
Yeah, but nobody's ever fucking answered it.
Well, we'll get back to it.
I still
because of the sunshine, Brian.
I still don't know who you're fighting against when you say it doesn't move down in a consistent linear. Who says that?
I'm not fighting with anybody. I'm explaining to you why because he suggested that he doesn't know why people bring that up because we stole perspective by bringing up the observation. I'm making you guys aware that the thing that debunks the flat Earth. The thing that debunks the flat Earth about that is the fact that the rate at which it moves lower in the sky.
Okay, hold on, Coach Joe. It just is what it is. If I'm on out in the middle of the desert, relatively, nothing in front of me, nothing behind me, and I can move 69 degrees away from one position, I'm going to see Polaris drop. That's just the way it is. What's your problem?
Well, if you were on a flat plane and you were using the regular laws, of geometry, then it wouldn't move
refraction table. If that ain't good enough for you,
but you see, guys, there it is. They have built a model that they have in their head that it should be done. I'm sorry, but that's not how things work in reality, buddy.
No, you have it all wrong.
Yeah, sure, I have it, Brenda.
Also, he's making
and here comes the correction unit.
Saying that on a flat Earth there would be a linear rate of descent, and on a globe Earth it wouldn't be quite as linear instead of it being, or vice versa. The thing is, we appear to have that lack of linear rate toward the equator when we can see past 69 miles per degree up to 20 to 30 degrees south, according to Robotham sailors or whatever.
Yeah, that's
and so
wrong.
we already have that. And so I think we have a problem there, Kosho, because it doesn't appear to be as linear as you're saying even already.
All of that.
Lemon, I will say this, that we do need a more current observation, an actual observation, just than something that
nobody's interested.
Even to me, that's not very compelling. I would like to see, God damn, man. I would like to see something more recent.
Well, Robotham misread a newspaper article.
Yeah, we don't care about the story.
Hold on, I waited on Brandon. Sorry to interrupt you, Brandon, but listen, I did a refraction chart and look at Miles Davis observations, do the math. Look at fucking Ranty's observations, do the math. Look at any fucking over 50-mile observations and do the fucking math, and my refraction chart works perfect. It works perfect for Polaris.
Your reification.
It works perfect.
Oh, this is a reification and yours is not. People are clowns, man.
Kosho is also forgetting about the diffraction limit, which is going to eat up the angle.
The model to match the observation.
See, here's their problem. They've got the Earth curving and light curving. And our model, all I have is the fucking light curving, dude. What's the problem with that?
And also, Kosho's forgetting about the diffraction limit. Eventually, the ceiling will merge with the floor like looking down a hallway. So that's going to eat up your angle and affect the rate of descent. And so, Kosho, we can't forget about the diffraction limit eating up the angle and making it weirder than it normally would be.
Let's not forget about that then. Here's the part that is the weirdest part about it, though. Because let's give it 1 degree of error. Let's allow for that just so we know, because you're right. It sometimes can be seen by 1 degree of error. So let's allow for that for the sake of my next point.
Oh, there ain't no fucking degree.
That 1 degree is based on a globe.
Hold on. Because the weirdest part about it is not the fact that it's supposed to do weird things if there's refraction or the angular resolution or whatever. The weird part about it is that it's consistently linear, meaning that if you're at a latitude line, like 30 degrees north, it should be 30 degrees in the sky, give or take 1 degree. If you're at 60 degrees, it would be 60 degrees in the sky, give or take 1 degree. Now, this wouldn't be the result of some error, or some refraction error that people aren't.
It's not an error, bro. It's refraction. Refraction alone.
This is a consistent.
That's fine. We get it. It's only
effect.
about 85 to 15 degrees, lower than 15 degrees. Is off the table due to atmospherics and refraction, just as they say with sextant readings. However, you've said that this linear is some kind of falsification of a flat plane model. That's what you haven't substantiated. You've given us some lame straw man model, but you haven't falsified shit, just so you're aware. There's no contradiction between what you see with Polaris and a flat Earth.
There is.
Not that you presented. You haven't presented one.
So the contradiction, the contradiction comes in on the flat Earth. You see from it will point in multiple directions, right? So Polaris does not exist in multiple places.
No, that's
What
nonsense.
if it were circling perspectives? You get a local triangulation to where it's circling within the neighborhood. A triangulation is only good if you're within the neighborhood, meaning your triangulation is only good up to a certain point. If you're like trying to triangulate an object that's 50 feet above your neighborhood, you'll be able to triangulate it as long as you can see it above the diffraction limit before it merges in the surface. You're going to be able to triangulate it from next door, from down the block, but you're not going to be able to triangulate it even over a flat surface all the way in China because it's out of view. It's not in the neighborhood. So you're going to get several triangulations with the sun, moon, and stars when they're basically within the neighborhood to be seen. When they circle too far away, your triangulation is going to go away because it's merged into the surface beyond the diffraction limit and you can't see it anymore. So you will get several positions that will basically equal the arc of the sun, moon, and stars as they circle over the Earth and are within the neighborhood to be seen.
Go ahead.
How can that's a good. So how can Polaris be in multiple places at the same time?
If you're in the neighborhood in the northern hemisphere, you can see it. But if you're just too far away over the flat plane, the flat pizza, no triangulation because it's just beyond the diffraction limit. You have to be within the neighborhood.
No one claims it's in multiple places at the same time. You're misinterpreting
That's
something.
what people see.
But isn't that Isn't that acceptable in the standard science though? On your
what do you mean? That's what people
something
see.
being in multiple places at the same time.
I can answer that.
So if you
were to triangulate,
hold on, Grim asked a
Jeremy,
question.
go ahead.
Wait.
Oh,
Grim asked a good question.
So isn't that acceptable in your scientific in Brenda's scientific worldview? Superpositioning for things to be in multiple places at the same time is acceptable. Why are you acting as if it's not?
Quantum mechanics applies at the very small detail.
As far as you know. Levels. You can't know that it doesn't apply to this.
So you're appealing to unknown physics.
It applies at the macro. It applies at the macro,
it
Brenda.
actually doesn't.
Yes, it does.
This whole thing is.
Look it up.
It opens another gate.
This whole thing is based on how your model of the sky works, right? If the sky don't work like you say it does, and all this shit you're saying is out the window.
I'm saying it doesn't work the way you say it does. Therefore, your shit is out the window.
How did I say it works?
The neighborhood.
Oh, how did I say the sky works? Because I don't make claims on how the sky works.
You make claims about where Polaris is visible.
Listen, I'm saying if your model of if the sky doesn't work like your model of the sky dictates that it should work, then we can destroy this whole argument out the window.
the flat Earth makes claims about where Polaris is visible. Those claims
I've never
amount
made a
to
claim about that.
the flat Earth does. So the flat Earth.
Who is the flat Earth? What's their actual name?
You mean the globe?
Where do they
trying to
live?
So
perceive
the flat Earth
right?
makes claims about where Polaris
Who?
would
Name
be
a
visible.
person.
That's the glober
And-
trying to perceive the
excuse
flat
me.
Earth makes claims.
So the flat
straw man.
Earth makes claims about where Polaris was visible.
No.
And when you trace out those lines, they point in different directions.
You made
Things
that claim.
cannot be,
You have Dorothy
things
the Lion
cannot
and the
be
Tin Man
in
with you?
different places at the same time, and
'Cause that was a
therefore
hell of a
flat
straw
Earth is
man.
falsified.
But Brenda, the thing is, you're looking at Polaris,
That
it's
was
by
wicked,
something
Chris.
plastered to the ceiling. Eventually, if you're looking down the hallway of the flat Earth, eventually the ceiling will merge with the floor and you're out of the neighborhood of Polaris for any sort of quality triangulation. This is expected by the diffraction limit and perspective. If you're in the neighborhood of perspective, which is mainly being toward the center of the flat plane where Polaris is hovering over, you're going to get a ballpark estimate of where Polaris is. If you're outside of the neighborhood, too far toward the outer rim or the outer perimeter toward the south, no triangulation. It's just the way it is.
Hold on,
So
Leonard.
here-
Hold
so-
on, Leonard.
didn't-
Wait.
Welcome
She
to
says
flat
things
Earth.
can't be at two
Kosho's
places
been
at
waiting
one
to go.
time.
Kosho's
This is
been
how
waiting
she
to-
Yeah, I mean-
explains the black swan. She says that it's
Okay,
not really
black
there.
swan.
We're seeing it there, but it's not really there.
Right. So
she-
the claim that was made earlier about 30 or 40 degrees south is just plain wrong. Okay. When you look for it, it's just as I said. It's within 1 degree of being at the same longitude. So the Polaris cannot be seen at all below 1 degree south. Okay, and it's consistent with every latitude.
So if we get
it's not
Polaris
directly north at the North Pole, and then there's errors as you go south. It's consistently at that elevation.
All right, what are you gonna do if we get Polaris from 2 degrees?
I would just check your observation. I would see what's going on with it.
Okay, what if we got it from? What if we could see it from 2 degrees? What would you say? The globe's wrong?
No, I would see what's going on with your observation. I don't know.
Well, there are.
What should I don't know, dude.
There are flat earthers in Australia. Have them make an observation of Polaris.
Why would he do that? Okay.
Well,
is anybody claiming that you can see
it?
Polaris from Australia?
This is why you're top 5.
Well, isn't that your claim?
30 degrees south.
That's Lemon's claim.
No. So it's not your claim.
It is not my claim that you can see Polaris from 30. I don't know. I haven't seen any evidence either way. I haven't seen anybody try to take Polaris, but I'll just say, fine. We can see it to the equator or past it, depending on how high you are off the ground. And I don't see any contradiction between what we see when we look up and see Polaris and any model. Nothing has been provided that is substantial at all that falsifies any model based on that.
Yeah. The way you falsify a model is by showing that the model entails a contradiction. The contradiction is that on the flat Earth model,
there is no flat Earth model except for the bullshit models you guys make up so you can claim your fucking superiority.
And my model, which works perfectly. And hey, wait.
The sun and stars circling overhead. That's a bit of a modelist element. Don't just trying to say that we'd see this on something flattish or whatever, and we're seeing this instead. They're trying, albeit badly, to try to.
Hold on, Lemon Bird. Don't leave out my bullshit flat Earth refraction model that works fucking perfect.
It does. So if there is no model,
it does work fucking perfect. 100%.
It works perfect.
If there is no flat Earth model, then you cannot claim the Earth is flat.
We have a general idea. Okay? North Pole in the center, southern rim expanding outward toward more and more land.
That's a model. That's a model.
That would work with perspective because the sun, moon, and stars are overhead at a certain elevation.
That's
if
a model.
You're outside of the neighborhood where they're circling, it becomes nighttime, it becomes dark, and you just can't see them because they circle past the diffraction limit, the point at which the ceiling effectively merges with the floor if you have an object at a certain constant elevation. That's the model that I go with or whatever, trying to basically map perspective onto the flat.
You guys are letting Brender set the bar, okay? Brender just said you can't say the Earth is flat unless you have a model. Please please provide someone who is your authority, because otherwise that's just your opinion. So show us who is our authority to dictate to us that we have to have a working model according to whomever this authority figure is before we can claim something about the Earth.
It's called
Otherwise,
all they want. All they want is fucking math.
You want me to answer it? Do you want
All
me
they
to
wanted
answer
was
or
the
not?
math. It was very simple to fucking show the refraction. Very
Do you
simple.
want me to answer or not? Do you want me to answer or not?
No, the flat Earth model is reality. What we see and what we experience. That would be the
again.
flat Earth
Listen,
model.
That's called a
Bob,
reification
hold
fallacy.
on, Bob. Hold on,
No,
Bob.
it's what we
Bob,
experience.
stop. Again, you're defending something that you don't have to defend. Again, Brender, who's this authority that you must bend the knee?
Well, you have to the scientific method.
Okay, no. Show us a citation rather than just rhetoric, because I don't know where to go to look for this.
I'll tell you. At the Berkeley website.
No. Go get the fucking citation that says, unless you have a working model, you cannot make a claim about reality. Go away and come back.
It's funny. She said,
you
said
can.
the scientific method would.
Yeah, you can.
The scientific method wouldn't even be involved in this. Is the Earth flat or the Earth curving.
So you cannot make a claim that anybody should take seriously.
Telling me, again, now you're making a claim
you can pull shit out of your ass. You can pull shit out of your ass and make any claim you want.
Right now, you're just making this
However,
shit up. You're just
if
making
you
this
want,
shit up.
You're
just pulling this stuff out of your ass as well.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. Okay.
The
well, then
scientific
show
method.
Us, okay. Again, show us. Don't tell. Go away and show us this citation that says
it's
for
in
everybody
the scientific model.
Obey.
It's at the Berkeley website.
Yeah, very good. Again, you're
so
just
you need a model.
Again, you're just telling us rhetoric. Give us the citation, please.
You don't need a freaking model.
Yes, you do.
Models are not reality.
No, listen,
it's part of.
Again,
it's simpler.
Again, you're getting sucked into defending something.
It's part of hypothesis formation.
Show us again. Either shut the fuck
make
up.
a valid hypothesis over
Either shut the fuck up, or go away and find this citation upon which you're making this claim.
Yeah. So,
hold on. Let's hear your hypothesis.
Jesus
on if the Earth's curving or
it's
not.
Simpler. It's simpler than all of this.
Why? No, we want to hear the hypothesis.
You guys are arguing semantics over something that's we're talking about. That's our moving away from the thing we were even talking about.
It's not semantics.
You don't have to have an entire model. You don't have an entire model.
Kosho, it's not semantics. If you tell me that I have to meet a certain standard, I'm going to say, where is this authority to whom I must bend the knee that you're telling me about, okay? And then I would not allow you to just go on with your rhetoric and say, well, this, that, and the other. No, show me this authoritative statement that you're holding me to.
I'd settle for Brenda's hypothesis, right?
You would need some kind of definition of something before you can make a claim about it. You have to know anything about it, something at all about it, and you can start with the fact that you're saying flat plane. You can just use that and just say that that's the model that you're talking about, a flat plane where the whole Earth is on a flat plane. That's fine. That's fine. But you can use that as a model, and that satisfies the requirement to go on with this conversation about polar players.
Can I be allowed to respond now? So, quote, modeling is an essential and inseparable part of scientific activity, each of which has its own ideas about the following was
Where's
said.
this quote from?
The following was said.
Put a link.
I will just be quiet. The following is a quote by John von Neumann. The sciences don't try to explain. They mainly make models. By model is meant a mathematical construct with which the addition of certain verbal interpretations describes observed phenomenon. Modeling is an essential and inseparable part of science.
Yeah.
Okay, where's a model in the scientific method? What would be where's the model in the
theoretical physics? She just quoted theoretical fucking physics and astronomy.
No, I quoted John von Neumann. He is a very famous scientist. And
look, if you want a model,
can I get the mathematical model for germ theory, please?
Simple model. This is a very simple model right here. Okay, over thousands of miles, the fucking atmosphere gets thick. Okay, light refracts at 6 inches per mile squared. Okay, that's our model at 1%. I mean, it's fucking 100% at 1 degree, 99% at 2 degrees, 98% at 3 degrees. Okay, look at my model. It works fucking perfect. You want the math? There's the fucking math.
Do you have like something written down?
Yes, I just made a video about it on Flat Earth Test about 10 videos back. Look at my chart, okay? It's all on there. It fucking
What is the formula for refraction, Brian?
It's 6 inches per mile squared refraction, okay? And it's the whole chart. Don't ask me a question and not let me answer it. The whole chart revolves around the thickness of the atmosphere. You get 100% at 1 degree. In other words, everything right by the ground, you're going through the most atmosphere, so you get 100% of the refraction. At 2 degrees, you get 99%, and it works with terrestrial. It works with the sun, the fucking moon, Polaris. It works with all of it.
How would I calculate the IOR of glass?
Snell's law, stupid.
So your model is
Fermat's principle.
Where's your link, Brender? Where's your fucking link?
I posted it. So your model, Brian, for refraction is Snell's law?
My model, no, what you just said through glass, okay, is fucking Fermat's principle and Snell's law. Listen to me, Brenda. Brenda, you can't use a fucking sheet of glass over 6,000 miles of atmosphere, honey. You're trying to fucking.
I could tell you what its index of refraction would be. You come up with this
makeshift model 7/6R to fucking come up with bullshit when my shit works way better than yours.
I'm just asking for a common thing, like a common material, which is glass, and I'm asking you how on your model you would calculate the index of refraction for glass.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't.
Yeah.
What degree? Hold on. My refraction model. Hold on. My refraction model relates to. Hold on. My refraction model relates, and it says it on the paper, from things on the horizon and further. So anything closer to the horizon, my refraction model does not apply.
Yeah, but glass refracts,
says in my paper.
Doesn't it? Doesn't glass refract light?
Who cares? Well, show me a observation through glass past the horizon that doesn't work on my model.
No, you said you had a model for refraction. How come you can't figure out the index of refraction for glass?
Terrestrial and celestial refraction, Brenda. Terrestrial and celestial. You understand?
Do you know what is
terrestrial? You can't fucking debunk it. Listen, y'all, she can't debunk it. This is the best she could do.
I just showed you to be an utter fool.
No, show me terrestrial refraction through glass, fucking retard.
Do you know what terrestrial refraction is?
Yeah, you got R in it, and you can't.
7/6R. Do you know what the fuck it is, Brenda?
But what's the definition? What's the definition of terrestrial refraction?
The mathematics is 7/6R. Okay.
No, but what's the definition of terrestrial refraction, Brian?
He's freaking out.
It's fucking upward light.
Do you know what it is?
Light refraction.
What is
over
the definition of terrestrial? Brian, the definition of terrestrial refraction is the refraction of objects on the Earth.
Brenda, that's refraction over on your globe, and it's 7/6R. It's terrestrial. You know what terrestrial means? Do you know what terrain is, Brenda?
On the Earth. It means on the Earth. That's all it means. It just means refraction of things on the Earth.
That's why I asked you. Do you know what terrain means? Do you know what unknown means? It means un and fucking known. Okay. Do you know what terrestrial refraction is? Refraction fucking on terrain.
You don't know what terrestrial refraction is?
So wait, do you have any problems with my model? Do you have any problems with my model or what?
You don't have a model. You don't have a model. You can't tell me what the index of refraction for glass is. You don't have a model for refraction.
Okay, what about when you talk about terrestrial?
What makes you think I can't tell you what?
Hold on for a second. I got a question for him.
The glasses. What does that have to do with my model, Brenda?
Hold on. Who was asking a question?
You have R in terrestrial refraction. You use R. How do you get it?
There's no R in refraction. There's no R in refraction.
You were talking about terrestrial refraction.
R.
You utilize R.
That's a shortcut.
I don't.
give a rat's ass if it's a shortcut or not. You use it. Where'd you get it from?
Refraction is defined by Snell's law.
Answer my question. You use R. Where did you get it from?
She can't just ask what's the fucking refractive index through glass, because it could be in water, it could be in air, it could be in all kinds of shit. She does not know what the fuck she's talking about, people. She's just trying to obfuscate my model.
You don't have a model of refraction if you can't answer.
Feeding the troll. You're feeding the troll.
I'm not trolling. I'm just holding
Brender,
the fire.
Listen, Brender, again, that description that you gave us from Wiki just simply says that a model describes something. Okay,
that's what science does, Travis.
It's right. That's insignificant, and it's a qualification.
What? That's all science does is just describe stuff. That's all it does.
That's meaningless. That's meaningless. Listen very carefully.
Science isn't meaningless.
Listen. Okay, listen very carefully. I read. Okay, listen, please. I read the citation that Brender posted. There is nothing in there except to say that a scientific model, its only purpose is description of an observation. Now, the description is based upon something else, right? So if I can look and describe something with my words, I don't need to have a mathematical equation to replace my words. I can do the very same thing with my words and simply describe what's happening. That's my model. Thank you.
Did you read the part? Did you read the part where it says modeling is an essential and inseparable part of the scientific discipline?
Right.
All she's trying to do.
Yes. Hold on.
Okay, I got a question.
Wait. Hold on. It says by a model is meant a mathematical construct which describes observed phenomena. Okay.
Yes.
Now,
That's what science does. That's science.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Listen.
¿Por qué te tienes que ir
For the
pinche
record,
imbécil?
also bodies of water can also be part of the terrain.
Okay. Listen again. I don't need to replace what I can explain.
Cocínate a la verga, me puesto porque.
I don't
no
need
voy a tener que cuitear a medio
link
pinche
for an
de
Silent Zero. What's up, bro? I don't need to replace what I can express with words with mathematics. If math is simply intent to describe, I can describe perfectly well what I'm observing with my words. That's my model. Thank you very much.
Science does not.
Can I ask a question?
Okay, go ahead, Paul. Sorry.
Brenda, what is the mathematical model for germ theory?
You mean the scientific theory, right? I don't think there is a mathematical model for the theory of
What's the
germs,
mathematical model for turbulence, Brenda?
Brian, hold on. Go ahead. Continue.
So really, you can have a theory without mathematics.
I think in germ theory, you would probably use a lot of mathematics to explain it.
Okay, so what's the equation for germ theory?
It'd be a law if it were one. It's not one.
Well, there's another.
A model doesn't have to necessarily be math.
42.
Right.
There are several postulates for germ
Laws
theory.
are not theories. Get that
Right. Okay, so I can explain something like Travis said and have no necessary for any mathematics, right?
But mathematics is the language that is commonly used because science has been going on for some time, and so levels of abstraction are such that mathematics is used to describe observations and theories.
I can describe germ theory without using any mathematics.
Yeah,
mathematics is only applicable when you have discrete units that you can count that are preserved throughout the counting process. Science came under the grip of mathematical positivism a couple years ago, saying that you have to model everything with some sort of mathematical model for it to be rigorous and scientific. That's another school that is questionable, Brenda, because not everything reduces to discrete countable units for the purposes of math.
Okay, also, let me read a quote from ThoughtCo. Let me read a quote. A model is used for situations when it is known that a hypothesis has a limitation on its validity. The Bohr model of an atom, for example, depicts electrons circling the atomic nucleus in a fashion similar to planets in a solar system. This model is useful in determining the energies of quantum states of the electron in a simple hydrogen atom, but it is by no means represents the true nature of the atom.
Because the quantum model represents the true nature of the atom. They just know that model's wrong. They have another model that's more correct.
Okay, but even that model is not perfect, right? Because all models, as this just said, it says the reason you even have a model is because there's limitations on the hypothesis, right?
Well, models break down to
Here's a
us
quote from
focusing on
Hannes
what we want.
Alfine about this very topic for Lemon too. It says, we have to learn again that science without contact with experiments is an enterprise which is likely to go completely astray into imaginary conjecture. Hannes Alfine.
Okay, I want to hold on. I want to address something that Brenda said several times. Science does not describe things. It explains why certain things happen. Okay, it doesn't explain or describe it. It explains why it does it.
Yeah,
Well,
that's false. That's false. It actually doesn't explain things. It describes how things happen.
A model
It
helps
doesn't
us focus on one thing.
Science does not answer why questions.
But the model helps us focus on one particular aspect that is easy to observe and predict. It doesn't necessarily reflect all of reality. The thing is, looking down a hallway, Brenda, we know that hallway is flat and level, but to our eyes, due to perspective, it appears to ramp toward the level of the eye. So if you're going to model perspective, you're going to need to take it away from reality and show why it is appearing to the eye in a certain way or how it is appearing to the eye in a certain way.
Children understand perspective better than you do, Lemon.
You have no
ceiling merges with the floor, Brenda. It's very simple. Even over a flat surface, there's no need for a hump of earth curve to block what's beyond.
There's no hump.
That's just a simplification that you globers like because it doesn't deal with the diffraction limit.
There's no hump.
What's a sagittar then, Brenda? What's a sagittar?
Brandon.
Is a chord.
Hold on. What's a sagittar, Brenda?
A chord.
No, wrong. You're a fucking illiterate idiot when it comes to geometry.
Is the
What's in the middle of a chord, Brenda? What's in the middle of a chord?
Yes, it would be a chord pointing upward perpendicular to the chord going from your feet to the object. It would be a type of chord, but I thought that chords had to connect sides of the circle, though. They couldn't just go off another chord, but I don't know the technical definition.
There's a hump in the middle of a chord.
Is anybody going to say anything about Brenda saying that science doesn't deal with why?
No, I muted her because all she's doing is dominating the conversation. She's jerking us all off. She's sea lining like a motherfucker and saying stupid shit to get us riled up.
Well, doesn't deal with why questions. Come on.
Well, the thing is, they basically said that a hump of Earth curve rises up relative to the observation point at the other side of your observation. So that's why they say the floor appears to be humping up like in the hallway. But the floor isn't humping up. It's just perspective and the diffraction limit and the way that our eyes work. And so science would try to give some explanation for why, if at all, it appears that the floor is ramping upward when we know that it's flat on some level.
They physicalized the optical effects that we see when we look into the distance into the shape of the ground instead of the way we optically see. So that's going to be one of the subjects I'm going to discuss with Ruhif in the upcoming debate.
Right. So let's think about one of the things that Brenda actually did say, and that is that science doesn't attempt to answer why things happen. So that's something that I think all of us here would disagree with, that science is concerned with cause and effect. Why does this happen? And
well, the thing is,
why, how?
To get from teleology.
It's the same thing. Why and how?
How and why are not the same. We know.
Yeah, it is.
We know. We know.
Yes.
Hold
it's
on.
why and how.
We know mass attracting mass. And how? But why? We don't know.
Well, it does try to stay away from questions of teleology because teleology asks why, what purpose is this for? Probably because they're trying to get away from a teleological God that purposes things in a certain way in science that appears to be highly metaphysical, materialistic, and atheistic.
Okay,
but science
to...
does kind of concern itself slightly with that.
We don't try to explain reasons.
Hold on, Chai.
We don't care for the reasons.
Listen, Brenner said that science isn't concerned with why, and you just said yes, it is. It's concerned with why.
With how?
No, you just said.
I said how.
You said science.
You can go and watch what I said. I said how, not the why.
Okay, so you would agree with what Brenner said, that science isn't concerned with why it happens, but how.
Right.
How and why are mutually exclusive.
No,
they're related. We use teleology. We use teleology as a powerful exploration tool as to why, a cell, transfers this protein as opposed to this other protein in a biological chain or something like that. That helps us explore the problem, even though we don't like to talk about teleology because that implies a purpose. The teleology implies a purpose, a mind like you and me that does things for certain purposes, and therefore a God, which, science doesn't like to deal with.
I meant to say science asks for how and why. I meant to say science wants the how and the why.
Scrat Splat has been trying to get in for a while. Scrat, what's up?
Science deals only with how and why questions between relationship, cause and effect relationships. It has nothing to do with what or is questions.
No, it has nothing to do with reasons.
Spot on, brother. You said it has no thing about reasons. So, reasons implies what? When you say reasons,
reasons imply your God. That's what reason implies.
Oh, yeah, that's getting too close when you talk about reasons, isn't it, Chaiki?
Why make this like this? It has a reason. No, don't know.
We wouldn't want to think about why we're here, would we, Chaiki?
Okay, so we can. So there's no so you're saying, okay, I'm trying to think about how to phrase what you said. So you can't determine an intent on anything, but you can determine how things work. Is that what you're saying?
Like I said, we know mass attract mass. We know how, or we have a theory how that works quite well. However, the why and it does it, we don't know.
Is anybody going to call him out by saying we know that mass attracts mass?
That's exactly the opposite of what
Hold on,
said a couple
So, but actually, you do know the why according to Einstein.
What's the why?
Why? The bending space-time.
Why?
Because you bending space-time.
Because you put a mass there, that's the why.
That's what. Well, that's why you said how. You don't know how. I think you don't know how, but you know why because the bendy space-time.
Right.
But you don't know how that occurs.
We know it does it. We don't know why.
It would be science in the mechanism that guides it, but not why as in, why was this purposed in this certain way? It would be a type of why that wouldn't be a very deep why. It would be this is the mechanism that's it.
Honestly, science is concerned about why too, because that's what they do in forensics.
To a plasma atmosphere and say, look, gravity's bending that light. Then turn around and tell you, no, refraction on Earth is blah, blah, blah. But that's not refraction that you're looking at. When we're looking at the light bending from the Einstein rings, it can't be because that's a vacuum space. Oh, turns out it's not vacuum space, and that's plasma you're looking through. Lots of extra gases and dust and things
the refraction index?
Over hugely vast more distances than across the globe. So with even a less dense medium, as long as you have a greater distance, then you'd get the same effects. And lo and behold, you claim it's not that.
Well, because they didn't use refraction. Listen, they didn't use refraction formula. They use Einstein formulas to predict, but we'll see the supernova again. And they were right. Now you can try with refraction, find a refraction index, of the galactic material, intergalactic material, and tell us when should they have seen or when would they see this phenomenon again?
It's a fucking ad hoc model.
No, it's not an ad hoc because
course it
they
is.
say.
Brian's logic, 499 euros, I think that is. Thank you, Brian. Polaris can officially be seen 138 miles past the equator. Their claims are based on their model, of course. Watch my most recent video, 138 miles, 2 degrees. Yeah, I think that math works out there in their world there, Brian. 2 degrees for sure. And I will have to check out your most recent video. Thank you very much. I did put the link to your channel in both chats, I think. So people can go check out Brian's logic. He does a lot of work, puts a lot of thought and time and energy into it. And he does an awesome job. Thanks, Brian.
Do you get it?
You
can't predict the
I want to circle back to the why
Supernova
question.
can happen over and over again. It's not a supernova.
supernova.
It's just a crack in your fucking theory about what a supernova is. That's all that is.
No.
It's not a star blowing up. We have
It is.
recurrent nova. They happen every 50 years. We have recurrent nova. It isn't a star blowing up, dummy.
What
It's
the
the
hell
top
are
layer
you
of the shell
talking
and the
We
star
get
blowing
on
off.
to supernovas.
What the hell are you on?
Let's get back to the subject.
Reoccurring supernova.
I like to circle. I like to
Yeah,
circle back to the
reoccurring
why.
Yeah, let
supernova.
Paul
Look
get
it
some
up.
time, guys.
Yeah,
Come on, we
this
talk all the
is
time.
this
Let
whole
Paul
argument.
have a go.
I wish you guys could understand that.
Well, the why helps us
Hold
deal
on,
with different
Lemon.
models
Lemon.
and make sure that they're consistent across the board. What we have here are several different theories explaining similar phenomena, but not really coming together with any sort of real truth foundation that's consistent. You have a school here saying one thing and another school over here saying something totally different, even with, the Earth, the stars, and all this other stuff. So we need to check for some consistency here.
Guys, let's let
Go
Paul
ahead.
let's let Paul get 5 minutes, couple minutes, guys, please.
Hey, before Paul gets his 5 minutes, I just wanted to say I posted a good video in chat that I watched the other day about their explanation of why gravity exists. I think it'd be funny to watch on the show.
Okay, I'll bring that up. Paul, go ahead.
Okay, he said science is not concerned with the why question. I'm going to have to vividly disagree with that, because ultimately, and when you're trying to determine causes, you wanted to try to determine you do want at some point want to try to determine if intelligent agent is involved or if it's something natural, non-intelligent agent involved. And that's what forensics science, so to speak, is about. Okay,
Well,
so
science-
you cannot say, hold on a second. So I disagree with Chaiki on that. Chaiki, you have science is concerned about the why question, not just the how.
Well, why would
Science-
we have electromagnetic field? Why?
Science
Spot on.
does limit the number of causes that are allowed for exploration. So in a way, science does confine the discussion to a certain group of why causes that are permissible. We know this happens, therefore these are the only number of causes that we're going to explore. So in a way, yes, science does.
Wait
deal with
a minute.
Wait, Lemon, it's all how and
Hold on
why.
a second. Hold on a second.
Paul is spot on.
Hold on a second. And also, you said why the magnetic field. Okay, now that's not
Why do we have
a cause and effect.
electromagnetic
Hold
field?
on a second, Chaiki. I said you said why the magnetic field. That's not a cause and effect relationship. That's
What do you
what
mean?
is
No,
question.
everything happens in electromagnetic field. What is not a cause and effect for everything. So why do we have electromagnetic field? Where did it come
Why do
from?
we have it?
Yeah,
Well, what is your explanation?
it's there.
Why do we
I
have it?
don't need an explanation.
But okay. Are you trying to determine a cause and effect relationship in this question? Why the electric field? Well, there is one. Okay, that's a what is question. What's the cause of it?
That's
Now
why he's
you have two
confused when
questions.
he's trying to
Because
give
of
the
the
other answer.
electromagnetic field.
Why make what?
What's the cause? Why is it there?
Why
Accelerating
okay,
electric
well,
charges is the cause, dude.
No.
Core.
Hold on a second.
No.
Okay, what's the
There's
cause
a-
of magnetic field? Hold on a second. What's the cause of magnetic field? Well, there's properties
Accelerating
inside of a
electric
magnet. Hold on a second. There's property that's inside of a magnet that creates a magnetic field.
No, there's no such property. I said electromagnetic field.
Magnets?
Not
Electromagnetic
magnets,
field.
nothing. Electromagnetic fields.
Okay, how are electromagnetic fields generated?
It's not generated, it's there. Moving particles share change value.
No, they are
Oh my
generated. They're
gosh.
produced
Just say it,
by
Chikey.
accelerating
Molten
electric
iron
particles.
core, pal. Just say it, Chikey. Molten iron idiot core.
What
Pseudoscience.
it has to do with molten iron?
So there's a field there, Chikey, that is always around called the ether. The thing that we call a field is the field under torsion
Hold
and
on, guys.
stress.
Come on. Let
Loading.
him
I'd
continue
like
his,
that explanation, Chikey. Would you look for another one, or is that satisfactory?
let Rags to Riches continue his questioning here.
What's the cost for the ether?
No, hold on, Lemon. Hold on, Lemon. Don't respond to him. Rags to Riches, continue.
I mean, okay. He's saying why the magnetic field? Well,
electromagnetic.
Is that
field,
a question that's necessary? What? Sorry.
It's different. It's electromagnetic field.
Okay, whatever. This electromagnetic, magnetic. Okay.
He's just
You're saying why the magnetic field? Are we trying to determine cause? Like, what cause are we trying to determine here?
We don't try to determine. We know how it works. Yes. If you move a charged particle in the electromagnetic field, it changes the value around it in this field. Both
so there's two
magnetic
aspects
and electric.
Okay, so there's two aspects of this. I can create an electromagnetic field through my engine in my car I'm driving. That's an intelligent why question. But you could also generate it in nature, correct?
No. Electromagnetic field is there always. You don't generate it.
So you don't generate electromagnetic field.
No.
Yeah, he's
talking
wrong.
about magnets?
Don't worry about it. You don't create one, but you do convert, and you can generate.
Change
So
values in the electromagnetic field.
You're broken,
yes.
bro. You're not working out.
Broken.
Well, we asked why because we're trying to duplicate the condition.
You probably ask me if you're confused. The field can be viewed as a combination of the electric field and a magnetic field. And the electric field is produced by stationary charges. The magnetic field by moving charges, currents. These are two
show me a magnetic field made out of molten iron.
Electromagnetic fields are generated, first of all, so I don't know what the fuck Chikey's talking about.
Yeah, he's
making a magnetic field right now as we speak, y'all. I'm making a magnetic field. I got a copper coil and a piece of I'm just sitting there moving the copper coil right against the and then tell me how he makes a magnetic field out of molten iron. That's what I'd like to hear.
Well, we can duplicate the conditions under which certain things occur, but if you're asking a deep question why, like what put it there and why was it put in this configuration, ultimately we're never going to know, so that part of science will never be solved. But we can at least duplicate the conditions with the why question that asks what conditions what are the conditions under which this thing arises. And so that's where we ask why scientifically, what duplicates these conditions and hopefully makes this occur.
Agreed.
Well, that's what I need to know what condition.
Interpreting their results correctly towards their theory in the first place. Because I mean, that's a lot of times like, oh well, then we saw this and we saw that, and then we're not even thinking of well, due to what? You saw that. You're thinking that that's like your theory, but I mean, you're only like the light bending behind the sun, and it only happens behind the thickest part of the plasma limb of the sun, the only place where you would see refraction, and it doesn't happen anywhere in vacuum-free space. It doesn't happen anywhere in vacuum-free space. Like in their own theory, it should, because it doesn't matter if it's vacuum-free or full of atmosphere. It should be gravitationally bending. So vacuum-free space, no gravitational bending at all. Weird, huh?
There has to be something to bend. There has to be an ether. These are the conditions that allow it to be possible that there is some sort of background substance, assuming something comes from something. Now, if you're going to try to go quantum mystical, you're going to try to have a vacuum here and a field that just pops up to carry the interaction in this vacuum here. But for me, that's just way too much mysticism. There must be a background medium, aka the ether, that is always there in different degrees of torsion, flow, or condition.
That's too much woo for you, Lemon?
Quantum mysticism is too much me, yes.
Too much woo for Lemon. That's when you know it's fucking dead.
Just saying.
Well, I think we derailed back to my thing though. I'm not done yet. The answer to the why question ultimately is the explanation for the thing within itself, or is it outside of itself? right? So if you want to know why there's a magnetic field, well, did it come from something else, or is it the nature of something that's whatever generating it?
I thought Chucky was talking about the electromagnetic field.
It's the left arm
Whatever.
to the right
This is
arm.
all a big
Whatever.
red herring.
No,
It's not a separate force at all. It's just it's the same thing. Just a
Well,
different aspect of it.
it's the argument still applies. In Kosher, we were talking about this earlier. The why question will determine where did it come from? What caused it? What caused the initial conditions for that thing that you're trying to evaluate? Did it just happen on its own, or did it come out something outside of itself cause it? And you can start getting to the why question.
No, if something else causes it, it's not a why, it's a how.
Or
no,
why?
Okay, no, you can no. See, that's the thing.
Why?
What's the cause of my vehicle? What's the cause of my vehicle, Chaiki? What's the cause of it?
You're giving a description of it, but not an explanation for it. That's what we're
what's
looking
the cause of my vehicle?
What's the cause of your vehicle? The cause of your vehicle is your need to have a vehicle. Someone needs to make money and knowledge how to make vehicles.
The point is, Chaiki's trying to come up with something
That's the
that we don't
reason.
know the cause to. Hold on. The point is, Chaiki's trying. Guys, hold on a second. Chaiki's trying to come up with something that we don't know the cause to, but we can't find out the cause to every effect. You know, it just don't happen.
Well,
so
you may
this
not,
is all a big red
be
herring.
able to, but you may not be able to. But that's not the point of my point. I guess is to say that you can figure out the why if you can figure out where it came from. Then you can determine the why.
How can mass
And you're
attract?
saying you can never.
It's magnetics.
Go ahead, finish your sentence, Rags to Riches. Go ahead. He's almost at the end.
I said, so if you can determine where it came from, the initial starting point for whatever this thing is that you're determining, then you can determine why. And that's my point. So either it's a natural thing, that's the why, or it's an intelligent thing, that's the why. One of those two options, and then you could determine the why. That's the only point I'm trying to make.
Okay.
Yeah, and if mass attracts mass and they want to say it's not magnetism, that just makes no sense. You're not attracting or repelling something without magnetism of some sort.
But we try to investigate the conditions as far back as possible for the initial conditions that make a thing occur, and why tries to deal with that. Science does try to get away from teleology, which is, ultimate reasons and purpose from, as sometimes a personal agent like God. But the thing is, we have a powerful investigation tool, God or not, when we try to ask the deep questions of why a thing occurs, science or not.
Right.
Well, I mean, after all, what is the point of science if it's not to figure out where the fuck we are, why we're here, what everything is, right?
No, just how, and how can we improve our lives? That's all.
No, not for me. I think I want to know.
No, the only
The end question is, what the fuck are we doing here? Why are we here? For me.
Go ahead, investigate.
That's what I'm doing.
You won't find the answer here. I'm telling you.
Why are you fucking come back from the dead or something? What?
What are you trying to meet the creator?
We're doing everything.
If Tyson's right, there is no meaning and purpose to anything we're doing here. Nothing. We're just a byproduct of the natural forces of nature interacting, the chemical processes. That's all we are. There is no why whatsoever. It can never be figured out.
Is that what you believe, Rags to Riches?
It becomes irrelevant.
It's not a good reason enough for you?
Is that what you honestly believe, Rags to Riches?
I believe what?
That this is all like a cosmic accident and we're just like animated, walking, talking matter without a purpose?
If atheism is true, then yes. If naturalism is true, then yes.
Where there's no purpose to life.
Brandon, he's saying that if what Shaik said is true, then the consequence of that is all that what he said previously.
Right, and that's what I don't understand, why it's so appealing when there's no evidence for atheism, in my opinion.
Oh, I know why. I mean, I have an idea. It's because you know, if there's somebody who we will have to surrender our actions and our behavior, then certainly some people won't want that to happen.
But I do know some
That's
good people who
information.
are atheists. Not all the atheists I know want to go out and rape people.
Does information design or intelligence have to have a blueprint?
Can I address that?
Yeah,
I'd like to address that, Brad. The thing is, that just because you're being good doesn't mean that's necessary. Your goodness is grounded anywhere. You can be good. You can be good all day long, but there's nowhere to ground it if naturalism is true.
You wouldn't be good for long. After a generation or two,
No,
children would be
I
robbing
disagree, Lemon.
without a grounding.
That's just crazy.
Or a
Lemon.
generation
It's crazy
or two.
sauce, dude.
It
I'm
becomes
just saying, without a grounding, it's not going to last.
It's crazy sauce, Lemon. It really is.
Hold on a
I come
second.
from a long generation of atheists, bro. I mean, a long fucking line of generations of atheists.
Yeah, my family is not particularly religious, although I think that. Oh, sorry, Rex. Richard, go ahead.
I grew
Go
up
ahead, Rex.
around Xmas.
Go ahead, Rex.
Okay. The only point I'm making is there is no grounding for it whatsoever, and which means anybody can be good. I think I've already said this, but I'll say it again. And I disagree with Lemon. I think you can't. Atheists can be good.
Oh, damn, you're roboting.
The Lord works in mysterious ways.
He was just about to tell us the secret to life. Damn it.
Well, the question is, what can ground an atheist goodness if they don't have a grounding that makes it last? It's like a tree with no root at that point. I just don't see
So
it
what
happen.
do you mean there's no root? Like the love from my family was my root.
I feel like that there's something else though. There's like for me personally, my family's not particularly religious, but I would say that they all are kind of, I don't know, spiritual. They all have an interest in love, truth, goodness, that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
My answer to that, Brandon. My answer
Right?
to this,
And you can
guy,
understand
he said
the mind. There's somebody talking.
He said, all I need is my family. Are you saying that if in some point your family would have fail, how do I say that?
Failure.
Fail you, or at that point you would change?
Me?
No, the other guy.
Oh,
Graham.
Graham. How do you? Of course, like you're on you are your experiences. You know how you've learned them and dealt with them all through your life. So, right, if there were a lot of different experiences, I could be different than I am today, for sure.
Yeah, but you wouldn't cease living. You would continue to carry on, right?
And speaking to the being grounded, I mean, I'm grounded by myself. I have a desire not to be mean to people, but to be good to people.
That's
so
tough.
I answer to myself in that.
Oh,
yeah. Don't you know that courtesy preceded the Bible? People had no need, no root for nothing, and still there was courtesy, or you can say convention, right?
well, that's why that's why my roots are on something more bigger than just a mere human being, because I know we are fallible and we're bad as humans, and so yeah, I ground myself on something bigger than whatever human it is.
Yeah, because you gave up on the human race like you were taught and conditioned to. Like, I don't do that. I know that there are some of us that are fucked up, and I know that those same fucked up ones can also be the good ones on
That
other
just
times
speak
and
of
experiences in
how
their lives.
comfortable,
So that you're not just
Hold on, let him
you're
finish.
not you're not just a single thing, good or bad. You're both wrapped up in one ball of candy.
It's nuanced.
And you can do good or do bad, and you can feed that goodness or you can feed that badness, and it doesn't have to have anything to do with religion.
Feed the good wolf.
That only
You guys hear me again?
that only speaks of how
no, you were roboting,
Yeah.
Rex,
you have.
Richard.
Go ahead, Silent. Finish your thought, and I'm gonna jump back in.
All right. Yeah, that only speaks of how good of a life you had in this place. That's all it says.
Well, maybe
Right.
Silent. I think you're making
Sorry,
some assumptions.
Let me ask.
I would like you to say one thing. Like, are you making an assumption that my life was good?
Yeah, when you don't understand it, well, based on what you
Could have
said
been. It
previously.
could have been compared to other people's lives. My life could have been good, but I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
no.
about all that,
I'm
dude.
basing it. I'm basing it on what you say previously. That oh shit, I forgot.
Long generation of atheists. I mean, a long line of atheists.
No, that
Grew up in
there's
foster homes
good
in
people
Atlanta.
and all that.
Yeah, that's the people aren't kind of just one
Yeah,
thing,
I
that they're nuanced,
It's all
that
about
there's
opinion,
good
man.
and bad.
It's
Let me.
I'll keep it real.
Let me
with you.
jump
It's
back in for a
usually the
second.
people who have the really good lives that can't appreciate what the poorer guy or the other guy's going through.
Majority.
So he'll treat the other guy
Majority
like
rule.
shit. That's why you see poor people tip much better than rich people.
Go ahead, Paul.
As far as the percentage of what they can afford.
Hold on. Go ahead, Paul.
Go ahead, Paul.
In a lot of cases.
When you say good and you say bad, by what standard are you evaluating what's good and bad?
An opinion.
Exactly. A fucking subjective idea of good and bad. Yeah.
How your actions.
Okay, so really, it's not good or bad. It's just your opinion.
Right. If I were to
How
take
do you
the
think you
Bible's opinion,
formulated
though,
your
I
opinion?
would take some slaves because that would be good. So I don't know.
How do you think you formulated your opinion, though, Graham?
But basically,
so, yeah, I
you
formulated
see
an opinion
standard.
outside of religion. Right.
Yeah, but it's nature and nurture, right? So a lot of it is probably the society that you're raised in. Human rights, how it's like kind of advised in your day-to-day life.
Popular opinion.
I disagree with that.
No, you're saying that we evaluate what's good and bad by popular opinion or by my personal feelings.
By nurture,
Okay, so
it's
what
nature
happens?
and
Hold
nurture.
on a second. So when my personal opinion, personal opinions or feelings, who's right?
You kind of cut out there.
Yeah, you cut out.
Nobody's saying there aren't just people in jail.
Hold on a second. When my personal opinion,
just people in jail.
No, you gotta let Paul speak.
Every once in a while, I think he's
You
done,
gotta
or
let
he's going to pause for someone else. Yeah, I think he sometimes is going to pause for somebody and he won't.
when my personal opinion and feelings disagrees with your personal opinion and feelings, how do you determine who is right?
How many people agree more? There's a consensus.
Yeah,
we ended up making laws of men. I guess we would call it
power.
Okay, so the laws. So when majority rules. Okay, hold on. Let's think about. Let's walk through this. Okay, so you're saying majority. So if the majority rules, then the majority makes right.
Oh, you're in it.
I'm driving.
No, you're fine. So
doesn't
continue.
matter who rules. Whoever
Okay,
rules.
so
I'm trying to get to the bottom of this already by saying yes. No one is arguing that there aren't any just people. The people who didn't do anything wrong.
That's not the place I'm going.
Yeah, I don't think that's where he's going.
Just or unjust.
All right, guys, he's having trouble with his internet.
And let him kind of get his vein out, his train of thought out.
His thoughts never changed.
Go ahead.
You'll see.
Rex.
You get right back to what I said.
Okay, majority rules. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Majority rules. Okay, so can the majority ever be wrong?
Yes.
Of course.
Oh, wait a minute. No, but you just established.
I just said that.
Hold on. You just established that it's not the majority rule. It's correct.
People in jail over unjust causes.
The majority can be wrong. So who's?
I literally just said that. You said I'm not going to go there with you. I just said that. That's why I said I'm not saying. I said no one's saying there aren't people in jail for unjust causes, like reasons like cannabis. People could be in jail for 50 years over a stupid plant of 2 joints of cannabis in some of these states, right? And we do not agree with that, and we don't think that's a good thing. But they're still
we do not agree
wrong.
with that. I see what
most of the people can vote against that being a bad thing. Yeah, it's still.
You can. That's not the point I'm trying to make. I'm trying to make a point. Okay. So now the point. So at one point you're saying the majority rule. So if the majority rule that cannabis is bad, cannabis is bad. Now you're saying it's unjust to put them in there. So you're actually going against the majority. So
Yeah,
what,
he's not
why
saying
should
that
we
it's
determine?
right
Why
that
should you
majority
determine
rules.
what you think is just or unjust? Why is your
Because
opinion
the majority,
better than the majority?
because the majority used to think that cannabis was bad. Now the majority thinks cannabis is good, but a lot of the laws are still unjust.
No.
What? Excuse me. Do you mind if I explain my position? No.
Go ahead.
Don't go
Can I?
focused
Do you
on the
mind?
specific. Think about the point of my
You don't
question.
like the fact that I'm actually clearing up my point, right? Is that bothering you?
No, I don't
Let
mind.
each other talk.
Why
All
are you
right.
interrupting me?
Grim,
Grim,
you're
go
getting
ahead.
hung up on the weed shit. You're getting hung up on the weed. He's making a broader point.
Hold
Pay
on.
attention to it.
Just let Grim answer.
I'm giving
and then
an
Rags, you can
example.
respond.
I'm giving an example of something that can be legally wrong, but not actually wrong, right? And that only happened because we changed our consensus on the idea of what is right and wrong.
So okay, from what
Just like in the
if I-
Bible, when it used to be okay to have slaves, but now you've changed your consensus on the idea of taking slaves from the neighboring cities and towns around you, right?
Okay, so what you're telling me then is right and wrong changes with culture and changes with opinion. So there really is no basis to determine. So today, cannabis is okay, but tomorrow, when the consensus changes, cannabis it could be bad again, depending on the consensus. So there's ultimately it's just an opinion, no matter what you do.
That's right. That's right. Because in
So you
reality,
cannot
there's
say
really
there's
no
no
right and
really
wrong.
justice. There is no such thing then. So justice does not
It's
exist.
a concept. It's a concept. Concepts do exist, and they exist in the mind, and they are acted upon. So you can't say the concept doesn't exist. Otherwise, how did God kill so many people?
But see, the thing is to say that something fluid and changes, then one day it's just, and the next day it's unjust.
Not by days.
Right, because the definition
But don't you guys see the problem with that?
of just
Hold on.
is in the eye. Well, listen, the definition of just is exactly determined by the people who define the word just.
What if everybody just mind their own fucking business and I don't give a fuck what Grim does in his free time as long as it doesn't bother me? I don't care what Paul does. I don't care what Silent Zero does. Everyone just mind your own fucking business and everybody's happy.
Yeah,
That's a stupid thing because then there's people who like to kill on their free time, you know.
But they won't be minding their own business.
Okay,
if
well,
killing
you went to the extreme there.
Now they're interrupting somebody else's business. Like if you're killing someone, you're not minding your own business. You're now involved in their business.
What if you're killing your own kid?
Ipso facto, if everyone was minding their own business, there wouldn't be anybody killing anybody, would there?
You know what? I'm going to mind my own business because you got more food than I do, and I'm going to take care of my business. So to take care of my business, I'm going to take you out so I can get your food to make sure my
Maybe
business
you guys
is taken
missed the
care of.
last part of my statement. I said, mind your own business and leave me alone. Don't affect my business, right? You know, and I know it's a hard concept to think of because we live in a world where nobody fucking does.
That's just your opinion, though.
Listen, the Christian the Christian thought about was robbing somebody. Did you all get that, though?
I want to answer to that. Are you telling me that only your opinion of don't affect me matters? No. What if the other guy has the opinion that he likes to kill people and not care what you think about his opinion?
None of my opinion
So,
what you
let
do
me
in
ask
your life. As long as
Then
it
we'll
don't
add an
affect me,
amendment
I
to
don't
that,
care.
and when he
I want
comes
to
for
ask
you to
Paul
do
a
that,
You're setting up the standard as you want. You're not the arbiter of
you already
anything,
have
buddy.
the
Kind
you
of
have,
the
you have an
baseline of
unalienable
humanity
right to live,
survival,
though, so you can stop him doing that legally, without any.
Those rights
But that's not what we're talking
I
about.
would never want to stop someone from minding their own business in their own life.
I have a question for Paul.
If minding his own business includes killing
what the
you,
fuck? I
you
was
would want to
Hold
stop
on.
him.
Hold on, Chucky. You're next.
Yeah, actually, I was
No, I was talking.
I was responding to what somebody
I
else was
was
saying.
talking. No,
Yeah,
there was
stop whining.
there
You're
was
kind of a
silence.
baby,
I
dude.
Chucky, you
became
can be next.
involved.
Just hold the fuck on, Chucky. Finish your statement, Grim.
Right. I just really like holding Chucky up, really. At this
You
point, that's why
fucker.
he whines and does that, so he can distract me.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Chucky.
Silence. I began to talk. You talked over me. Get it?
No worries. The floor is yours. Go ahead.
That's part of the illusion,
Yeah, so
buddy.
shut the fuck up. I have a question.
It makes you look more like a victim.
Okay.
It's in your favor.
Oh, shut the fuck
Chill,
up.
Grim. Let's
Let
go.
him go. Let him go.
Oh, is it
Cry
just
like a little bitch, though.
that the baby will have cancer or a heart defect?
What's the
That's what you
question?
wanted to cry about saying? You
You
wanted to
asking
say
a
that?
Shut the
Well,
fuck up, Grim.
say it
I'm not
again.
talking to you.
Are you asking a question, Chike? I heard something
Yeah,
about
it was a
Repeat the
question.
question,
Always
Chikey.
a
Repeat the
question
question,
with a
bro.
question mark in the end.
Repeat it.
I
Yeah, you're gonna have
stated
to
it is a
rephrase that.
question. Is it just that the baby will have cancer or a heart defect or any other disease?
It's not for us to say.
Hold on a second.
I asked Paul, and Paul
Did the
only.
baby cry a lot?
Hold on a second. Okay, we got to answer. Okay, justice implies what? Okay, justice implies like a wrong done by someone to someone else. So we imply justice, saying like, okay, I killed somebody. Justice needs to be served in that arena. Okay, I don't think a child having cancer is a justice question.
No, it's
Yes,
not.
it is a
It's sick.
justice
It's a
question.
sick question.
Is
No,
it
it's not.
just for a baby to have cancer? You think
Okay,
it
who
is
gave
just?
it? Who
Because according to you,
No,
and I know
right.
it,
If the
Paul,
baby
there is
got
a
cancer due to a
but
vaccine,
you
no,
can
it's not
shut
justice.
the fuck up, Green, because you had to talk. It doesn't matter who talks. You will talk over him because you decided
You're taking way too much time. That's what the problem is. You're wasting all of our time with that. So other people want to get into.
No,
Yeah, and you
I'm
suck, by the
asking
way.
Paul a question.
Yeah, you
and
suck.
I don't.
Yes.
All right, you made the question. Get to your
I
fucking
didn't
point. What do you
interrupt
think, Chikey?
Everyone, shut the fuck up, guys.
It's
Come
not
on,
just
one at
Chikey
a
because
time.
it's your fault.
Hey.
I
All right.
didn't
Everybody,
interrupt your nonsense. You
guys.
don't interrupt mine. Otherwise, you will not speak here.
Chikey. Don't say the question again. Make your fucking point. You already asked the question. Make your fucking point.
I can try answering it.
I asked, is it just that the baby will have a cancer?
You got an answer already.
Here's my answer.
Because I know Paul has a reason for everything. So there must be a reason for the child to have a cancer. Otherwise, he's naturalist.
Well, the
Maybe
thing
he was
is, it's
vaccinated.
just for the baby
Wait
to
a minute,
have
wait a minute.
cancer.
Can
Hold
I
on,
respond, Lemon?
Right,
Is
was
it-
the
you
child
gonna-
vaccinated?
Can I respond? Okay, that's a red herring right now. Don't go there.
Go ahead, Paul.
Again. Okay, so you're saying there's a why question. There has to be always a why question. Well, I've already said it too. There's two natures of the why question. Either something can be natural or an intelligent agent, correct? I've already established that earlier in the discussion. So now the question is, did that child get cancer naturally through some natural means, or did someone give that child cancer?
This is just dumb. Chike, you
There are
suck.
two options. There is
two options.
there is, how did you say it? Which kind of
Dichotomy.
Oh, dichotomy. That's what you're about to do.
No, either there is an intelligent agent or is nature. You need to choose between the two. They can't be both.
I don't.
They can be both. Because
Hold on
maybe
a second.
nature is made by an intelligent agent.
Chikey,
Okay,
who says
hold
it
on.
has to be nature? Is it possible that the baby has cancer because the mother ate a lot of GMO foods and a lot of shit that fucked up her body that went to the baby, causing him the cancer?
Is there
What part of that is that?
Do we have
There
any
is no
better Glovers
intelligent
in here?
agent here, right? Just life.
Is there any better
Listen.
Glovers in the room?
No.
Jeremy, go
But
to your top 5. At least try
let
to
me
get
try
one.
answering Chikey's question in a different way. You said, is it just for a baby to have cancer and die or what have you? My answer is it for us to say, or is it just for us to speculate? Because we don't have enough information to say. Hold up. We don't have enough. 1 second. We don't have enough information to say what happens to that. Like if there's a soul, or what happens after the person dies. You know, if there's an afterlife or any. We don't have enough information. So we can say, like, you know, there's some cultures, some faiths that say when a baby dies, they go straight to heaven. You know, it's like, you know, instantly do not, you know, pass go and do not collect, whatever, it's straight to heaven.
We all go to heaven.
Whereas we're stuck toiling on earth and trying to, like, you know, do good and stuff like that so that we go to heaven, so that we're judged accordingly, right? But they got instant like one-way ticket to heaven. So who's to say whether it's just? Maybe it is, but we don't have enough information. We can only speculate.
I mean, listen, if you say that it isn't just,
He's assuming that death is the final thing.
No,
we have no idea what happens after we perish.
He didn't assume.
The fact is, we all get some time on
That's not a
earth,
fact.
then we go to heaven.
That's not a fact.
So what was the reason to make this?
Why would you assume that we're all going to heaven?
You can kill
Or
it.
that even it exists?
You can kill it more humanely, like a car accident or something. Why should it be cancer? Or you can skip the whole pregnancy process and send them straight to heaven.
What the fuck are you talking about, Shaiki? You're a fucking nutcase, dude. This is ridiculous.
I don't know.
Can I go back to the child?
Yeah.
Can I go back to the child? Okay. Now, if you're asking now, there is several layers of the question. You know, I'm going to go back to what I said about justice. Justice implies that there's someone did something wrong towards someone else. Okay. So now, what you're implying, did God cause this child to get sick? Right?
No, I haven't said it. I just asked you.
Okay, that's what you're implying.
That's what in your opinion, if it's just that a child will have a cancer, a baby.
Okay.
Didn't commit no crime. Born to a good
not.
Christian family.
Chaiki, you wanted me to answer the question. So you're trying to hem me in. I'm trying to answer the question. And because I'm not answering it like you want me to answer it,
your
you
opinion.
keep going then around in circles. No.
So in your opinion, it's okay for
what he does. That's what he does.
Okay, if
The answer is that we don't know.
He only wants to listen what he wants to listen.
Let's change the subject. Let me close out the show, and then we can go back to talking about this if we absolutely have to. It's almost 8 o'clock. I want to thank the panel for joining. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Made a good live show. We'll be recording in the after show. Sometimes the recording runs all night, just so you know that you are being recorded. May or may not make it to YouTube or somewhere else eventually. And please pay heed to the mods. Try to keep it civil. And let's have a good night. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. Anybody who didn't talk much during the show want to say anything before I wrap it up?
Yeah, Brandon, I was sitting motionless in my car, and a fire hydrant slammed into it at 40 miles per hour.
I'm sorry to hear that. There's a lot of accidents like that. Was it Coriolis caused, or was there another cause? Oh, relativity.
It was the frame of reference.
Wrong reference frame.
You were in the wrong reference frame. I'm sorry to hear that, buddy.
It was refraction. Refraction did that shit for sure.
You had that Coriolis insurance. Listen, we get it popping in here all day, all night. Come see us. I hope you guys got somebody better than Chike or M Stone or one of these, Cracker Jack Lovers we've been getting.
Well, I'd like to say something. He is completely ignoring the fact what Paul said. Justice doesn't deal with things that just happen naturally. It only deals with whether somebody wronged another person or not. That's it.
All right, thanks everybody. One last thing before I close the show out. Farming Ganja.
Let him close the show.
Farming Ganja. Make sure you go out and get pseudo forces covered in your insurance policy next time. Thanks again, everybody. I'll be back.
That wasn't true what somebody just said.
All right. Thank you, everybody in the audience. Brian's Logic, Kango 24, Swamp Boy 34, Logan's Run, and Gourdzilla 37. Thank you for the super chats. I do appreciate the extra beer money and for you to support the YouTube show. Thank you very much. Thank you to Twit. You distracted me by saying M Stone is a great guy. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Thanks to the mods for keeping it cool out there. And we may be back tomorrow. Possibly have a conflict, but we'll see. Check the posting. Either way, thanks again, guys. Have a good night. Bye.